to collapse. So they sent a statement late last night to try and calm nerves. Now you're in the business graphic. What are they talking
the
about?
graphic is, well, I gave you the story on the policy rate.
Okay, then come to me. I have a story for you. So whilst we are going to share 100 million with 4 countries to fight terrorism, there's a story on Al Jazeera, which my journal also has. Gold mafia, gold smugglers gold smuggler rather sneaks $40 million worth of gold out of Ghana every month by his own confession. Now, a gold trader exposed in Al Jazeera's gold mafia investigative documentary has revealed that he smuggles a ton of gold from Ghana every month. Al Jazeera's latest investigation, Gold Mafia, has uncovered a band of criminals driving gold smuggling and money laundering worth billions of dollars in Southern Africa. However, those involved in this gold smuggling syndicate have business networks that stretch across the continent and operate in many other countries, including Ghana. Alistair Matthias, described by the investigative reporter as a financial architect who builds money laundering schemes for corrupt politicians, was approached by undercover journalists posing as Chinese criminals to help them launder money from China. While assuring the undercover reporters of his competence, he revealed that he has been smuggling $40 million worth of gold from Ghana monthly, which is $480 million worth of gold annually. I've been doing it for about 13 years now, 14 years. In Ghana, I do a ton. I do 40 million a month out of Ghana. This region, I probably do 500 to 1 ton. Again, I do roughly about 70 to 80 million every month. We can export from Zambia. I can export from South Africa, he told reporters. He also then urged undercover journalists to set up a company in Dubai that they could claim was involved in the gold trade in order to help them launder their money. Al Jazeera has only released the first episode of the 4-part investigative series into gold smuggling in Africa.
Was it done by Anas?
No, this is not Anas, although they've done work with him in the past.
Okay.
This is Southern Africa, a different person who did it.
Okay. Bernard, quickly, I just want to go back quickly to the matter of the economy, because the finance minister, Kane, is quoted as saying that a committee has been formed.
Yes, credit committee.
Exactly. So creditors agreed to form committee on Ghana. And the story is on page 9 of the Finder. It says the finance minister, Ken Oforiatta, has disclosed that Ghana has made significant progress in its discussions for debt treatment with the Paris Club and other bilateral creditors. Now, according to him, the Paris Club, together with other creditors, including China, India, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey, have agreed to form an official creditor committee on Ghana. Grab the Finder newspaper for details on that story.
If you go to page 6 of the Daily Guide, it says court demands death certificate on coup doctor. The story is written by Jibril Abdul Razak, and it says a high court, was it the High Court Accra?
Yeah, the High Court.
Okay, has demanded a medical certificate on the late Dr. Frederick McPalm, a medical doctor who was alleged to be the mastermind of a plot to overthrow the government in a coup. The deceased, who was the CEO at Citadel Hospital in Accra, passed away on March 25 this year at the Dodua Hospital. He had earlier collapsed at his private home on the same day and was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Maud Opoku, a private legal practitioner, yesterday informed the court that the family of the deceased had informed the legal team that the accused had passed on to glory. She, however, told the court that she did not have any medical certificate to prove same, but indicated that the family said it could provide one in 2 weeks.
Let me give you 2 quick stories. Basic school heads are lamenting non-payment of capitation grant arrears over 2 years. Now, the Conference of Heads of Basic Schools is lamenting the non-payment of capitation grant meant for the operationalization of basic schools for the past 2 years. The association explains that the situation is crippling the program of the progress of teaching and learning in basic schools. Now, General Secretary of the Conference, Justice Eduda Akunto City News, they are yet to receive any funds, and they are saying the amount itself is inadequate. Looking at the price of commodities of late, the last time it was paid was 2019, 2020. This means that for 2021, 2022, and this year, we haven't received anything. Charlie, those running these schools only on capitation are really suffering. Notwithstanding, we met with the Director General of the GES, and he admitted the challenges and promised to ensure that capitation was released. He said, Charlie. Meanwhile, the MP for Busa South, who's a ranking member of the Education Committee, has cautioned government against the delay in the payment of the capitation grants to the various basic schools. According to him, the delay is gradually collapsing the public basic school system. Oh my God, Sky, let's go on.
Anyway, let me take you to Parliament, because we're told that there's Sayo within the minority. And massive reshuffle to rock minority caucus. The story is by Stephen Odoye Labi. It says that talks are currently underway for a massive shakeup in the minority National Democratic Congress caucus in Parliament following the party's defeat in last Friday's vote on the 6 ministerial nominees President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo presented to Parliament for consideration and approval. Now, the Chronicle is well informed that even though the discussions around the reshuffle are yet to be concluded, the top echelons of the party are hell-bent on undertaking this exercise as a revenge on their old MPs who defied the party's directive and communicated to the general public by the General Secretary, Fifi Yavi-Kwete, on February 19, 2023. Now, it goes on to give you details of what exactly...
So what are the proposed changes? We are told there's going to be some changes in terms of committees.
Yeah, that's right. If you look at it, we are told that inside sources say that the much expected reshuffle by the NDC will seek Muntaka withdrawn for Abuja, who is currently the chief whip, to take his rightful place. But let me say that traditionally it's been the chief whip who's been...
so it's not even like a change per se.
Not wild like that. Also, the story goes on to say that those that the party suspect of having betrayed its cause are also going to be affected, with inside sources saying the party's members on the Committee on Mines and Energy will be the biggest casualties. It is not clear when exactly the reshuffle exercise will take place, but inside sources say it is likely to take place within the week before the House goes.
Meanwhile, Zaneto is also saying that if her father had been alive, they would have all gone to swear.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they would have known those who took the party or who betrayed the party.
Marcel Ofori, writing that story, says the late former president and founder of the opposition National Democratic Congress, Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings, may have died, but his no-nonsense character is still alive and reverberating in his daughter, Dr. Zaneto Ajima Rawlings. Now, the embarrassing defeat suffered by her father's party in Parliament last week, Friday, has not only shocked the medical doctor, whom politician, but is drawing her closer to the gods her father believed in.
This is more like commentary. So we know what the story is saying. Now, something serious happened in Abuaze.
Yeah, Abuaze. And it's on page 13 of the Daily Graphic. And it says a huge explosion has ripped through one of the thermal plants at the Abuaze Power Enclave in the Shamar district in the Western region, leading to the loss of 50 megawatts of power to the national grid. However, the VRA has said there is no cause for alarm as there is enough generation to cover the shortfall from the blast. Speaking with the Daily Graphic, the Deputy Chief Executive of the VRA in charge of engineering and operation, Edward Obeng Kenzo, said the explosion, which occurred last Thursday, was of very high pressure, leading to the flying of heavy metallic objects. However, he said there were no fatalities.
Now, in sports, Bukari equalizes as Angola hold Black Stars in Luanda. We have that story, Citi News, CitiSportsOnline.com.
Yeah.
The Black Stars of Ghana were held to a 1-1 draw by Angola in the AFCON qualifier against the Palancas Negras at the Estadio 11 de Novembro. I don't know how you say 11 in Portuguese. So Angola played more of the game in the first half and early second half before the Black Stars, after 3 substitutions, saw Osman Bukari, Majid Ashimeru, and Joseph Pencil come and change the game for us. So we have 8 points. Sierra has 7. Angola has 7.
Angola has 5.
And then somebody has 1. That's Madagascar. Now, a number of international stories to just bring to your attention. Sky, so these issues. So the first one is that they say Russia has fired a supersonic. Yeah.
To where?
Russia has fired a supersonic rocket into Japanese waters.
Hey.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that?
I don't know.
Please, I beg you.
Yeah, the story. Russia fires supersonic anti-ship missile at mock target in Sea of Japan.
Mock target.
Yeah, Russia's Navy fired supersonic anti-ship missiles at a mock target in the Sea of Japan, the Russian Defense Ministry said on Tuesday. In the waters of the Sea of Japan, missile ships of the Pacific Fleet fired Musket cruise missiles at a mock enemy sea target, it said in a statement on its Telegram account. The target, located at a distance of 100 kilometers, was successfully hit by a direct hit from the 2 Musket cruise missiles. So just be careful, just spongy. That's this. You know, the guy say it work spongy. You know, so just spongy. Now in Israel, Netanyahu suspends judicial overthrow overhaul after a day of turmoil. So I just want to say that there are a number of protests across the world. In Jerusalem, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has paused the signature plan to overhaul Israel's judiciary after a day of nationwide turmoil when workers joined a general strike against the proposal and hundreds of thousands of protesters took to the streets. In France as well, there have been protests throughout the week against the proposed pension reform, which is some people think will force the president to back down. Indeed, there's a write-up on France 24 that suggests that, similar to 95, these protests would win. They would win and cause for reform. Then in Kenya, the opposition has, let me give it that story. Kenya's opposition has defied government call for it to go leave the streets. Odinga, who is the opposition leader, has vowed to hold anti-government protests every week. Now, the protests intensified as opposition leader Raila Odinga defied the government's move to stop him. Odinga is 78. He drove in parts of Nairobi along with supporters on Monday, while the police lobbed tear gas canisters as they pushed to block access to the central business district and key Kenyan installations. Now, Odinga failed to overturn last year's election result in the Supreme Court after a narrowly lost to William Ruto. And he says he will rally masses against the government to meet demands. Now, let me take you.
Why are they still?
He wants the states to do more to bring down the cost of living and ensure the establishment of new panel of people to oversee the future elections are conducted fairly. So he wants electoral reform. Finally, Uganda police are also performing drills in anticipation of protests. Charlie. So let's call this World Protest Week. Officers of the Uganda police force, and this is the East African I'm reading, the Daily Monitor, by the way, have performed anti-riot drills in anticipation of Kenya-like protests in urban areas due to the rising cost of living. Police Directorate held joint drills at a training facility in Kigo, Wakiso district on Monday, where they displayed their capabilities to deal with terror attacks and protests at the same time. Instead of supporting people to get what they want, they are doing drills. Uganda police spokesperson Fred Inanga told the Daily Monitor on Monday that several groups, including those from the opposition, are holding secret meetings with the intention of rallying their members to protest.
Charlie.
And the police will also
they also enter against their people.
Charlie, let's just move on with our lives. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Sky.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's Rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies DA improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chema. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Citi Business News brought to you by MTN. Have you ever wondered how to subscribe to a particular MTN service and how to view, add, or cancel your mobile subscription all from one place? Just dial *175# to access and manage all your subscriptions everywhere you go. And there's also good news for all SME business owners. With SME Plus, you get to manage all your operational costs in communication. The service allows you to choose from affordable packages and enjoy talk time, SMS data, and business content all bundled into one subscription. The other exciting news is you get free on-net calls every Monday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So like right now, dial *5060# sign up today or call 0244308111 MTN everywhere you go. Netele Neti Ajaho is here with the Citi Business News. Good morning, Netele.
Good morning, Bernard, and good morning to everyone. Welcome to the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. Coming up, Ghana Association of Banks dismisses false reports of banking industry's resilience, and the Bank of Ghana pushes for speedy passage of revenue bills as it is critical to resetting the economy. to our stories now, and the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, has warned of dire consequences if the new taxes before Parliament are not passed. Parliament is expected to vote on the Income Tax Amendment Bill, the Excise Duty and Excise Stamp Amendment Bills, as well as the Growth and Sustainability Levy Bills. Addressing the media, Dr. Ernest Addison noted that a delay in the approval of these outstanding revenue mobilization bills will make it difficult to facilitate the board approval for the $3 billion International Monetary Fund Program staff level agreement.
The fiscal outlook is contingent on financing of the budget and will require the conclusion of the domestic debt exchange program, as well as securing the requisite financing assurances from bilateral donors. Indications are that these discussions are proceeding well. Based on the above, it is imperative that Parliament prioritizes the passage of the revenue bills currently before it. Under the staff level agreement with the IMF, the Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance have finalized a memorandum of understanding on zero financing to the budget, which will be signed shortly. The passage of the relevant revenue bills by Parliament will therefore conclude the required prior actions to advance Ghana's program to the IMF Executive Board. This will be critical in resetting the economy on the path of recovery, including putting it firmly on the disinflation path and sustained growth.
That was the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Ernest Addison. The Ghana Association of Banks has refuted recent reports by news agency The Africa Report, alleging that the banking industry is vulnerable and unstable. In a statement released to the media, the association labeled the reports as false, malicious, and lacking any factual foundation. The association acknowledged that a domestic debt exchange implemented by the banking industry in the national interest resulted in impairment losses on banks' holdings of Government of Ghana bonds, as indicated in the recent Bank of Ghana MPC report. However, the industry remains well capitalized, strong and resilient thanks to the regulatory measures implemented by the central bank. It also assured the general public, customers and clients that the financial markets have positively responded to the DDE, resulting in a gradual decline in market interest rates, general improvement in the rate of inflation and the relative stability of the cedi. The association further indicated that it had also notified the publishers of the unfounded report and the general public that the banks named in the report are considering legal options available to them and advised readers and commentators to be guided accordingly. The GAP therefore encourages customers and the general public to contact them or their respective banks for any additional information they may require on this subject of matter. Now, moving on, economist Dr. Patrick Isuming has expressed surprise at the Bank of Ghana's decision to increase the policy rate by 150 basis points. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana increased its policy rate, that is the rate at which it lends to commercial banks, by 150 basis points to 29.5%. The central bank cited the fact that there are still concerns about the inflation rate, hence the need to increase the policy rate. But in an interview with Citi Business News, Dr. Patrick Isuming said the central bank should have considered the impact of the hike on businesses and slowed down to monitor the previous hikes.
There is certainly more to be done to fight the inflation, because even though we've seen marginal decline, the inflation is still way higher than what is in the medium-term target. I think we've seen last year alone, we saw almost more than 1,000 basis points increment. So I would have expected that once we've seen that the previous round of increase are beginning to kick in, we should probably hold on a little bit. So what he's saying might be true, but it's still a little bit surprising. Don't forget that there are two risks we are trying to balance. There's the growth risk and there's the inflation risk. Obviously, the MPC has played more weight on the inflation than the growth, which is a little troubling. So I still find it extremely surprising, regardless of the explanation given. Clearly, it seems to me that they are throwing the concerns of businesses under the bus and focusing more on fighting the inflation. I don't think that's a good balance. I don't think it's a balanced way of using the monetary policy. I think, yes, the inflation is high, but we have to look at what else, what all the previous increments have done. Interest costs have gone up a little substantially. And then we also have to consider that, business sentiment has waned. the composite index of economic activity has seen negative growth for several months in a row. So I would have expected that at the very least we would have held on to observe how the economy evolved for some months.
That was economist Dr. Patrick Isuming speaking there. The National Trade Development and Promotion Organization of the Republic of Zimbabwe, ZimTrade, is optimistic of an increase in commerce between Ghana and the country soon with the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Trade between these two countries have over the period been very low, but with the advent of the AFTA, particularly under this tariff-free policy, the figures are expected to improve. In light of this, the Zimbabwe Ghana Business Forum is being held in Accra for companies from Ghana and Zimbabwe in identified sectors to engage in meetings with the ultimate goal of generating businesses between the two countries. Vuyiswa Mafu is the manager in charge of export promotion at ZimTrade and has been speaking to Citi Business News.
Very crucial. That is why we looked at this market. It's a new market for us. As you may know, traditionally we trade with our neighboring countries within Southern Africa. I did mention earlier South Africa is our major trading partner, but there are others within that region, Zambia, Mozambique, the DRC, Botswana, amongst others. But coming to Ghana here, it's a very new market for us. And we're saying this is in light of the AFCFTA agreement itself, because it means tariffs will be lowered. As was mentioned earlier, I think one of the reasons why at the moment trade between our two countries is so low, it's because of the logistics. How are the products going to come here in light of the tariffs that are chargeable as we trade with each other? But the coming on stream of this agreement, when it
That was the manager in charge of exports promotion at ZimTrade, Vuyiswa Mafu. Now on the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar remained unchanged and is selling at 11 cedis 2 pesos. The British pound is selling at 13 cedis 5 pesos. It recorded no price change. The euro gained 1 peso and is selling at 11 cedis 9 pesos. However, at some forex bureaus, the dollar is selling for 12 cedis 30 pesos, while the British pound is selling at 15 cedis 10 pesos and the euro for 13 cedis 30 pesos. Let's now join Mark Jordan Sikanati of Data Bank for updates on the bonds market.
The Ghanaian Treasury missed its auction target by 23.85% after issuing 2.44 billion Ghana cedis on Friday, 24th March. Despite the auction results, the amount raised covered the maturities due by 1.3 times. Yields on the 91-day and the 182-day bills advanced to 18.88% and 21.44% respectively, while the 364-day yield retreated to 25.66%. On the secondary market, overall weekly turnover in Government of Ghana bonds slowed 15.54% week-on-week to 100.55 million Ghana cedis. With improved investor interest in the new bonds, the Data Bank bond index gained 1.24% week-on-week to 99.21 points, reducing the weighted yield to maturity by 15 basis points to 9.31%.
That was Mark Jordan Sikanate of Data Bank. And that does it for the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. My name is Nete Ajaho. Have a good business day.
Isn't life wonderful when everything worth doing is scheduled? Hitting the stop button on your alarm just in time for your morning jog. That happy moment listening to your baby's heartbeat at the doctor's office. Or an arranged virtual meeting with that big client.
Buy airtime ahead of time with scheduled airtime service on MTN Momo. You can schedule your airtime purchase of any amount daily, weekly.
13 minutes past 7. Citi Breakfast Show, Tuesday, 28th of March. Sporting news segment is called Kickoff. Is brought to us by Lesheho. For over 10 years, Lesheho Savings and Loans have been supporting the investment goals of our customers with attractive solutions. We've always been a safe haven for depositors who value security as well as competitive returns. With easy access to track your funds, we offer flexible deposit products for 91 days, 182 days, and 365 days. Open a fixed deposit account with us now. Call 0577 70 7700. Let's achieve your goals together. Let's share our savings and loans, a trusted safe haven for your investments. And if anyone had told me I would become a mathematician, a cartographer this year, I would have laughed. Come see calculations as we map out routes to avoid traffic. But now Shell has given us a way out to go further and do more. Shell Fuel Saves Triple Action Formula improves engine efficiency, prevents deposit buildup, and protects your engine from wear and corrosion for extra clean, extra protection, and extra savings, giving you extra kilometers out of your drive. Switch to Shell Fuel Save today because extra kilometers go a long way. Benjamin Nkita is joining us with the sports news. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Bernard. Let's get into the headlines. And Ghana go top of Group E after draw with Angola, while Chris Hughton explains Thomas Partey's absence. Ghana's Black Meteors take on Algeria in the second leg of the Under-23 AFCON qualifiers at the Babayara Stadium today. And Mike Magnan produced some last-minute heroics as France beat Ireland in the Euro 2024 qualifiers. Let's get to the details and let's begin with the Black Stars and Ghana's Osman Bukari. He saved the Black Stars from defeat in Luanda by scoring with his initial attempt, resulting in a 1-1 draw against Angola in the 2023 AFCON qualifiers played yesterday. Now, Angola had taken the lead through Lucas João's penalty in the 51st minute, but Bukari leveled the score with the help of Joseph Painsel's assist. Now, Ghana hold on to her position in Group E with 8 points at the top. And speaking after the match, Black Stars head coach Chris Hughton, he shared his thoughts on his team's performance and also the non-participation of Thomas Partey.
We want you to win the game. You have to approach every game to win it. And sometimes you have a setback, and the penalty was for us disappointing. But we reacted really well. And this shows a team that have good spirits and good quality to get a result. Thomas has some small issues. He has some small injury issues, and we felt it was too big a risk to start him.
Now, although his team picked up 4 points in 2 matches, Angola's Chris Hughton, Angola praised Chris Hughton's. Angola were praised by Chris Hughton for their efforts.
Angola have some very good technical players, especially in the attacking areas. Okay, so we knew that defensively that we would have to be good and we would have to be solid. Because they're such a good, expansive technical team, we want you to use the spaces, utilize the spaces, and attack fast. I thought once Angola scored the penalty, it gave us a lift. It gave us inspiration to get back into the game, and it's normal that Angola dropped maybe a little bit deeper. But the game is 90 minutes, and I think we proved we have a big spirit in the team. And in both games, scoring late goals. Angola are a very good side. We are very happy to have 4 points from the 2 games.
You had Black Stars head coach Chris Hughton speaking there to some results. Now, the Central African Republic, they beat Madagascar by 2-0. South Sudan, they lost at home by 1-0 to Congo. And then Guinea-Bissau also lost by 1-0 to Nigeria. Niger lost to Algeria by 1-0. Now, Algeria have sealed their qualification to the tournament. Ethiopia lost 3-1 to Guinea, and Sudan will be up against Gabon. That game has already been played. We'll bring you the result in our subsequent bulletins. If you get to the games to be played today, there's Botswana versus Equatorial Guinea, there's Malawi versus Egypt, Namibia versus Cameroon, Liberia versus South Africa, Mozambique versus Senegal, Comoros versus Cote d'Ivoire, Togo versus Burkina Faso, and Libya versus Tunisia. Let's get to some other stuff in Black Meteors. Forward Emmanuel Yeboah says his personal target is to qualify Ghana to the Olympic Games in Paris 2024. Now, Ghana face Algeria today in the second leg of the Under-23 AFCON qualifiers at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium in Kumasi, heading into the clash with an away goal advantage from the first leg in Annaba. Now, speaking to City Sports, the 20-year-old striker believes they have enormous quality to beat the Algerians and qualify for the AFCON in Morocco later this year.
I'm highly motivated because to play against Algeria is not easy, but I hope Algeria is not better than so many Europe teams. So I think Ghana, we have the good materials. We are ready to fight with them, to battle with them, to play the game. Everything is set, and yes, for sure, not only me, with my colleagues, we can do it. As they said, together we can. So I hope this time we can qualify the team to Olympic Games. And I will be glad to be part of that team who qualified the U23 team to the Olympic Games.
You had Black Meteor striker Emmanuel Yeboah. Now, the Black Meteors will be in action today at the Baba Yara Stadium. That game is at 4 p.m. So you should go there to support, or you should find a way to watch the Black Meteors. Now, assistant coach of Asante Kotoko, Abdoulaye Ghazale, has been appointed as the interim head coach of the team following the club's mutual agreed separation with former Burkinabe head coach Seydou Zebo. Now, the Porcupine Warriors made the announcement via their official Twitter handle after their defeat to Mediama Sporting Club, a fellow Premier League side, at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium over the weekend. Ghazale will serve as the team's interim coach until a permanent replacement is found. Let's get to some more Ghana Premier League related stuff. And communications director of Real Tamale United, Say Mubarak, has characterized the hostile behavior exhibited towards them by some factions of Aduana's fans in Doma as unsurprising. Now, this statement follows the numerous unpleasant incidents perpetrated by Aduana Stars towards RTU officials, as well as the physical assault of Northern Ladies players who were severely beaten at the Nana Ajimambedu Park. Now, in an interview with City Sports, Say Mubarak revealed that they have notified the Ghana Football Association and are anticipating appropriate measures will be taken against the hooligans.
We have addressed the issue very soon. We sent the report to the Ghana Football Association. In fact, we were thinking we could get some few footages from the grounds. But like I said, the one to do that was sent off the pitch. But we think that the Ghana Football Association can address issue by looking at the footages of the GFA cameraman who was there yesterday to take coverage of the game. But definitely we are protesting, not for the 3 points, not for a replay, but I think the actions of Aduana Stars has been very consistent, especially with northern clubs. Let me put it that way. And I don't know what is going to happen to Tamale City because they are traveling there next weekend. There should be something to really stop this kind of act of hooliganism that we are experiencing in the Premier League. I haven't really seen so much of this year. This is the first time really I am seeing such incident. It might have happened in other venues, but not as high as what I saw yesterday at the Aduana Stars game. I think that very, very unfortunate, and the Ghana Football Association definitely will need to act.
You heard communications director of Real Tamale United, Say Mubarak, speaking there. Let's get to the European qualifiers. Austria, they beat Estonia by 2-1. Hungary beat Bulgaria by 3-0. And then France, led by their goalkeeper Mike Magnan, managed to beat Ireland by 1-0. Moldova played out a goalless draw with the Czech Republic. Montenegro lost at home to Serbia, and then the Netherlands bounced back from their defeat by beating Gibraltar by 3-0. Sweden also were 3-0 winners when they took on Azerbaijan. In the matches to come today, there's Georgia versus versus Norway, the Kosovo versus Andorra, Romania versus Belarus, Scotland versus Spain, Switzerland versus Israel, Turkey and Croatia, and then there's also Wales versus Latvia. Matches kicking off at 7:45 p.m. To some other news, and ex-Spurs midfielder Jamie Redknapp says the instability with managers at Tottenham Hotspur could push Harry Kane to leave the club in the summer. Now, Harry Kane currently Tottenham's all-time scorer in the Premier League, surpassing the goal feat of legend Jimmy Greaves, is unsettled following a few issues, and he also has 1 year left on his contract.
But I genuinely have no idea what Harry wants to do. I think he's in a position, where he can have in was it 13, 14 months or less than a year, he can go through a pre-contract with somebody. I'm sure his negotiators will be talking to clubs. Clubs will already know the situation. That's how football works. We bury our head in the sand and say it's not. But he'll have plenty of options because he's a world-class player. In terms of where could he go, I felt that Man United might be the option. Or does he just want to achieve things at Tottenham? But while there's this chaos at the club, it certainly doesn't help the cause of wanting to keep your star player, because every year you're getting a new manager in. He's probably thinking, well, what's the point of this? You need some continuity, and that's conducive to success.
Former Tottenham midfielder Jamie Redknapp speaking there. Let's get to the NBA and finish with some basketball. The Dallas Mavericks, they bounced back after a poor run of form to beat the Indiana Pacers 127-104. The Utah Jazz, they lost to the Phoenix Suns, and then the Kings also fell to the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Clippers kept their good form, beating the Chicago Bulls 124-112, and then the Denver Nuggets also were superior when they took on the 76ers 116-111 when Nikola Jokic did battle with Joel Embiid. That's all for this morning's edition of Kickoff. My name is Benjamin Nketia. There's more sports at citysportsonline.com.
To the CEO of Nordstrom Company Limited, Tema and Jada Foods Company, Tema Sheikh Ahmed Kwabena Nkrumah, age gracefully. To our baby lass, Manuela Abubeidu, God continuously order your steps, grant you your desires according to his will. Stay blessed and have an amazing day with love from the family. From Ruth Mafo, head of PR at Gepa, to husband, engineer Daniel Mafo. Happy birthday to the love of my life from your queen, best friend, and mother of the squad. I pray for many more delightful birthdays together. Happy birthday to Nana Araba Arthur, a nurse in the system. A good old friend of mine. Happy birthday to you. These days, I don't know whether you're at Kolebu or somewhere else. Enjoy your day today.
Well, I have one here. This one is from Maxwell Atigo, and he's wishing his wife, Mrs. Joyce Atigo of Budwata Health Center in the Central Region, it's her birthday, so he's sending her the warmest of regards and the best wishes. So Maxwell Atigo wishing his wife, Joyce Atigo of the Budwata Health Center in the Central Region, a happy birthday.
And we'll focus on Parliament briefly today because news we are getting from the Ashanti region suggests that the majority side has lost a member of Parliament. You know, Richard Kai hinted to us yesterday that one of the reasons why people are upset with the outcome of the vote was that there were at least 2 MPP MPs who were not in the House. One for reasons we do not know, but one for reasons of health. So there were 135 MPP MPs on the floor, together with the independent candidate. So the NDC could have stayed the motion because according to the rules, when a motion does not get a simple majority, the motion is defeated. Well, the news we're getting from the Kumeru constituency, and this is the news that's coming in Richard Sky, and I'm sure you can confirm this from the parliamentary sources, that the member of parliament for Kumeru, the Honorable, is it Baswa?
Yeah, Baswa.
Is it Philip?
Yeah, Philip.
Philip Baswa has died. Now, this was the self-same MP who was taken ill in Parliament. Did this happen on the night of the vote?
It was actually, that very day.
On the 24th of March, that Friday.
That's right.
You were in Parliament?
Yes, I was in Parliament when the thing happened, and quickly they called in the ambulance service guys. There's a stationary ambulance vehicle there in Parliament. And so they picked him up quickly, did what they needed to do, and rushed him out to the nearest hospital. And we were told that the situation was pretty critical because it was stroke-related. And everybody was praying for him that he would be able to pull through.
So this happened whilst he was on the floor or within the precincts?
Within the precincts of Parliament.
This is in the evening?
It wasn't exactly in the evening. It was somewhere in the afternoon there.
This was where the deliberations were going on?
Yeah, that's right. It dragged on for some time. Yeah.
But do we know if he had been taken to hospital after this or whether he was within the precincts?
No, he was taken to outside Parliament to a hospital immediately after the thing happened. And
so he did not vote.
Is that no, he didn't take part in the vote. What you remember that the majority leader, when the discussions were going on, hinted that look, one of our colleagues is on his way or was on his way.
So he did not know.
Yeah, and that he will come and take part in the vote. So at that time, it was not clear to leadership what exactly the situation was. Although they knew that he had collapsed and they needed to give him assistance, but unfortunately he couldn't come back to take part in the vote. We do remember, Bernard, that there was a similar death in the Kumeru constituency involving another Baswa in 2002, which gave rise to the Kumeru, the very infamous or the famous Kumeru by-election, depending on where you stand. So it's a very heartbreaking development.
And I will come back to this because it has implications for what happens in Parliament. Apart from the controversial vote to approve the ministerial nominees of the president, three very contentious, and I use the word contentious with advice, three very contentious tax bills are to be laid in Parliament this week. They are the Income Tax Amendment Bill, the Excise Duty and Excise Stamp Amendment Bill, and the Growth and Sustainability Levy. Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Association has issued a strongly worded statement. They are basically saying, government, please, we are tired. Now, I just want to read a couple of paragraphs of that statement for you and then speak to the author of the statement. Now, stop these obnoxious taxes. Businesses are already overburdened with high taxes and interest rates. Now, the statement says the government in 2017, realizing the importance of lessening the tax burden on businesses, removed what were deemed to be nuisance taxes. As of now, these nuisance taxes are creeping back in various forms and folds, seriously suffocating businesses in the country to death. What is more worrying is that these taxes are being piled on a few recognizable business companies and individual business entities. And then they give a long list of things they are not happy with. Now, Dr. Joseph Obing is the president of GUTA, and they sent out this statement. Now, we know Parliament is deliberating on these, possibly to pass the bill. The government is hoping to raise 4.2 billion cedis. We interviewed Honorable Abena Osei-Asare last week on this. Dr. Obing, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine, my brother.
Your statement is not easy. The headline is very wild. You say the government should stop these obnoxious taxes and that business are already suffering. What is your understanding of the nature of these tax proposals and how would they affect businesses?
Okay, the term obnoxious. What we mean is that the growth and sustainability tax, for instance, is going to be paid by these banks 5% on their gross. Shipping lines, insurance companies, communication industries, and all that. And these companies are not going to absorb these taxes. They are going to pass it on to us. What it means is that we are going to pay multiple of taxes and add it up to the cost of doing business, which is already high. Unless Parliament represent themselves, and that they do not represent the people of Ghana, especially the business community, then they should not dissect and evaluate this tax and do the needful, because it's not going to help us. Already businesses are dying. Now government itself wants to ensure on local productivity. How do you ensure local productivity, the growth of local production, when we have these killer taxes? When we have interest rates going beyond, only yesterday interest rates have gone past the monetary policy rate have threatened up. It means that the lending, commercial lending rate is going to go around 41%. And how are businesses going to thrive with these taxes? Because we are not competitive even in the sub-region. We are not competitive. We are quite irrelevant when it comes to the continental free trade area that we all are trying to take advantage because of the excessive taxes that we are paying. And we have paid enough. And it's not that we have not done well even as business community. The taxes that were collected last year exceeded the target.
But Doc, if I look at the memorandum for the growth and sustainability levy, they list about 15 companies that will pay the 5%. Prior to this, 9 of them are already paying. So it's only 6 new categories they've added. The other new thing is the 2.5% profit before tax for all companies. Is that where your concern is? Because when I look at the 6 other companies for the 5%, they look like manufacturing companies, and I don't know if they've, apart from the beverage guys who have come to complain, I haven't heard any of them complain about this publicly yet.
No, it's all additional taxes. And as I explained to you, if you put 5% on shipping lines, they are going to transfer to us. If you put on communication, so whatever addition that they've done, it means that the ripple effect is going to have a cascading effect on businesses. I hope you understand.
I do.
What we are also saying is that the business, the taxes are just so many. You know, from 2021, when they introduced even the COVID levy, and then they removed from 3% VAT to the standard rate, that is now going to about cumulatively about 22%. All we have to contend with these taxes. It's not that we are not even absorbing, but what we are saying is that the taxes are being recycled on just a few successful few who can pay, and now they cannot bear it. If these companies collapse, where else is government going to be able to get its taxes? When you are doing the tax, you have to put it on the scale and weigh it left and right and see if it is not going to have any effect on the businesses. Rather than thinking about the revenue, and then you succeed in killing businesses. What would you have achieved? That's what we are talking about. If it is IMF conditionality, then we have to do our proper bargaining.
So are you going to
be able to convince IMF that if you do that, we are succeeding in crippling our businesses, and therefore we will not be able to get the monies to pay you? It's an argument.
When we listen,
I wouldn't buy that it's a conditionality, and that we were not able to put our argument forth.
When we interviewed Honorable Abena Osei-Asare on Thursday, she did confirm that there were about 4 things that we needed to do to get the IMF program. One of which was increasing utility tariffs. The other was bringing a lot of the government funds into GIFMIS. And then the fourth one was to have these taxes. So you can say, and indeed, she did say that they were looking to raise 4 billion cedis because the IMF program has delayed. It was supposed to have come in March, and March ending is not come. And the Ghanaian government has been closed out of the international market. So if you look at the sources of revenue for the government, apart from the taxes that we pay and concessionary loans from friends, you can't really go and borrow from the Eurobond market. So the only logical thing they can do from raising money perspective is to introduce these taxes. This was the explanation I got from that interview. In fact, there's a feeling that if government is not able to raise this 4 billion, there are some very important payments they can make in the next few weeks. This is my understanding of the situation. And then she also says that these taxes have sunset clauses. That means that by 2025, they'll be phased out. Well, is that not enough guarantee for you of the importance of the tax and also the fact that they are not making them permanent taxes? It's a short-term tax for a short solution.
At which cost? That's what you have to know. Because that's what the question for any economics. If you are putting a new economic policy down, you ask yourself at which cost. So the cost is so overwhelming for businesses who have already come under various forms of taxes in the past from 2021 to today. If you put these additional taxes, then it's going to be very unbearable. You understand?
Yes.
And that's what we are talking. And when the IMF were negotiating with them, did they ask them to prune down expenditure? Probably she did not bring that one also up. And that's also an option, that we do everything to prune down our expenditure. And that we should be able, because if this is the argument that they are talking, then we have to put all the other requirements on the table so that we all discuss and see what will be the best alternative. We said that even we have to revise our policies on warehousing, revise our policies on free zones and the tax exemption and all that. And all these places can release some funds for us.
Okay.
That can give us the neighborhood of the 4 billion that they are talking about.
Okay.
So, and then also even ensuring value for money.
All right.
Expenditure or contract. All of these. can ensure that we will be able to retain some monies that can cover this amount that they are talking about, and expanding the tax net. Just a few of us, the taxes are being recycled around just a few of us, and that will not be fair if it succeeds in killing our business.
I have just two more questions before you go. Does the fact that it is a profit, is a tax on profit, not reduce its severity? So profit is not like, I mean, if companies are suffering as they claim to be, they will not make a profit. And if you're not making a profit, you won't be taxed. So should we not simply say, well, that just means that a bad situation cannot get any worse? It's not as if it's a profit on operations or a profit on purchases. It's a profit on tax. And tax is when you finish doing all your calculations and you declare a profit. So if you don't declare a profit, there's no problem.
You see, the problem has been, if you know how these multinationals and big companies and the banks and all that operate, anything that government put on them, they transfer it to us. They don't want to suffer anything. And the lack of monitoring on these companies is the reason why we are talking like this today. If they have been able to control them from not unnecessarily burdening the business communities, then probably we would have gotten the comfort that at least it's not coming to us directly. And that is going to be absorbed by these companies that they've enumerated. In any case, we are also paying the 2.5%. That is going to trickle down on all of us. And then we say that the cost of doing business is extremely high. Only yesterday, the monetary policy have been increased, meaning that interest rates have gone up. Cost of doing business is too high, and we are not competitive in the sub-region.
Do you agree with the Bank of Ghana's continual increase in the interest rates, in the prime in the rate?
It's a wrong approach. Because the accumulation, of course, this inflation that we are suffering is not as it's caused by, it's a cost push inflation, and that's all that I can say. It is not a demand push or because we have excess liquidity and of cash. Where is the cash in the where it is in the excess? It's because there's the cost of doing business here is very high, extremely high. The effects of the exchange rate, the taxes that we are paying have accumulated in cost, and that's why it has triggered the inflation that we are experiencing. And that, if you want to find solution, you do not increase the monetary policy rate to increase cost of borrowing to compound the inflationary program that we have. It means that you are using the wrong method.
Yeah, your point is backed by many economists, including Toby Afede. So I'll leave you. Last question is, though, from what happened in Parliament last week when the ministers were passed, a lot of Ghanaians say they were disappointed in the NDC, particularly for some of their members voting to support or to approve the ministers. Do you intend to take your advocacy to Parliament? Because I'm made to understand that in fact, a couple of the tax bills have already been laid, and that this week is a very critical week. Is the GUTA minded to go to Parliament? Is the GUTA minded to speak to the political parties? Are you going to tell NDC? Because I think now they even have a majority. If based on the numbers we are hearing, I think an MP just passed away. Where are you going to, what are you going to try and do? What length are you going to go to try and stop this?
Yeah, we are sending a clear message that unless they represent themselves and that they do not represent the good people of Ghana, then they should go ahead and do this. But they should also know that we are also the majority, and they are how many of them? And so please, they should know that they represent the people, and that when they hear the people speaking, all that we are saying is that they should hold. Let's evaluate the situation. Let's see where we can do best in enhancing revenue rather than compounding it on just a few of us who are touched. And that if they succeed in collapsing these businesses, whereas we are not competitive. Our manufacturing companies are not competitive. The cost of borrowing a loan does not make them competitive, and then compounding taxes on them. And is that how we make the economy? We have to put it on scale and weigh it. And if it is not beneficial to the latter sector segment of the society, then we know that it's not helping. Especially this one that ensures multiplicity of tax payment among the end users of these companies that are going to pay. Because these companies are not monitored in the past to ensure that when we say profit is profit, they're going to pass it on to us. The shipping lines, when we give them this opportunity, they will make it 10% on the end user. And they don't have anybody controlling them. They do everything left and right. And we've complained all this time. And so if you go and lump 5% on shipping lines, they are going to hand 10% to us.
Okay.
And that's what our fears are. And that's what we are complaining.
We will be watching this space. Thank you for talking to us, Dr. Joseph, for being president of GUTA, stating in no uncertain terms their opposition to the proposed tax amendments. Two amendments. One is a new tax called the Growth and Sustainability Levy. You could say it's a refined version of an old levy, but to all intents and purposes, if you look at the categories of people to be covered, all businesses 2.5% before tax profit, 15 groups of companies 5% before tax profit, and then mining companies and upstream oil and gas 1% of gross production. So those are really the issues. Couple of quick announcements. Join Upstairs Ready to Work podcast on Facebook and YouTube this Thursday, 30th March, 10 a.m. Our team of experts are eager to share tips on how your business can stand out in a competitive marketplace. Don't miss out. Let's get ready to work. That's Africana City. That's APSA. If you're looking for prime property to buy or invest for immediate returns with $50,000, you can own one of the 3-bedroom apartments in Sakumono Estate for immediate haircut-free returns and benefits. We also sell and install original Japan Fuji elevators and escalators. For your best results, deal with us before you start the building. Call us on 0200 53 55 15. Visit us at Sakumono near the Celebrity Golf Course. This way, property investment, your haircut-free investment. In this era of haircuts on investment, be smart with your cash and invest in a venture that guarantees full returns. Now listen to this. With just 2 deep freezers, a block structure and a store, and a minimum of 10,000 cedis, you can become a farm milk agent today. Farm milk is empowering Ghanaians to be entrepreneurial, and this is your opportunity to become your own boss. Cash out now with only 10,000 cedis, and farm milk will support you with your sales equipment you will need, as well as set you up to start work immediately. This is a sure way to becoming a boss. So call Farm Milk now on 030 7,595.
Give me the number.
030 7,595.
Yes.
And we'll set you up to start earning up to 10% monthly returns.
Let's give me the LP and give it to
Terms and conditions apply. Yeah. And then
you want to see
let me also give you something else that's happening. For a limited time only, Toyota Ghana is offering a super bundle offer on any of the 3 vehicles, the 1.4 liter Starlet, the 1.8 liter Corolla Cross Adventure, and the 1.5 liter Rush. And buy any of these vehicles within the super bundle period and enjoy discounts, 1 year free comprehensive insurance cover for vehicles, 1 year free service, 1 year free home insurance, and free fuel as well. We have showrooms in Accra, Takrady, in Tema, in Takwa, in Tamale. Or you can call 0302 910206. Is it me or a lot of places in Ghana have the name T? Takrady, Takwa, Tema, Techiman, Tiobodom, Taifa. Plenty.
Tantra Hill.
Tesano. It's a lot of T things. And if you look at the big cities, Tamale is You know, funny thing I noticed on the caravan. Takwa is bigger than a number of capital cities. Yes. Yeah, Takwa is very big. All right. 8 o'clock, we bring you tech and social media trends, and then we'll come back to this issue of taxes. So get ready for tech and social media trends. Nathan is getting ready for that. Imagine you had the power to impact the world around you. At the British Council, We see students from all over the world with dreams of a bright future coming together for quality education that achieves goals. Those who study abroad in countries like the UK are getting much more than just a degree. They are getting a world of valuable experiences. Visit the British Council website to find out how you can own your future. Now, this one is from the Commissioner General of the GRA, reminding all taxpayers, companies, entities, individuals, including self-employed people, that your first quarter income tax installment is due, Nathan. So, Charlie, by Friday, 31st March, there's no fail out. All outstanding taxes for the 2023 year of assessment and for previous years must be settled by close of work on Friday. Now, the failure to do this attracts an interest of 125%. So, go to gra.gov.gh for more information. And Indomie's new flavor is the Indomie beef. Is the newest addition to the great tasting Indomie family, meaning you can enjoy a delightful meal with appetizing aroma of beef to fill your belly and leave you smiling. So if you want a quick meal with a pleasing flavor, do your taste buds a favor with the new Indomie beef flavor. Indomie tastes great. Send us your comments on the situation in Parliament. I think is what I wanted to go to. And the sky. So just to confirm, all these three taxes are in Parliament as we speak, right?
Yeah, they are all in Parliament. They've been laid. They refer to the appropriate committee, the Finance Committee. The Finance Committee has since laid its report on all three. So
when would they vote on it? What would they do?
Yes, the expectation is that they would be taken on Friday. So the votes will be taken on Friday.
Wow. Can I say that what happened last week Friday with the passage, with the approval of the MPs, is going to raise the stakes for this Friday's vote? Because this didn't seem controversial as of last week in terms of from the parliamentary side. It was a lot of business that we're talking about. I didn't really hear the minority even say anything about this tax.
Yes.
But can I imagine that? And the assumption I make is that, talking to Abena last week, the deputy minister, everybody seems to agree that government needs money seriously. And I think the premise of the story that the Finder wrote was that the IMF deal didn't come, or it's not yet in. No international capital market thing coming. You haven't even finished doing your external debt restructuring. And if you don't raise some desperate money now, you know what Ken Ofriatta said, if we don't get an IMF deal by March ending, we're in trouble. So it appears these new taxes are two things. They are part of the IMF conditionalities, or it's not, I don't even, they call it conditions precedent, like things you do.
Prior action.
So prior action, you do the tariff, you bring some of the government funds into GIFMIS. There's a third thing I forget.
Your debt.
There was one other thing I forget.
With the debt restructuring.
Yes, and then this one. So, do you see the minority opposing this?
Okay, so it's delicate because there are two things here. If you don't get these taxes through, because we're looking at plugging some hole, and we need some 4 billion from these taxes.
Start date is end of March.
Exactly. So the point is that if we don't get it, it would most likely create a problem. The other side of it is that the minority would then insist that, well, I mean, we've been asking you to cut the size of your government. You have refused to do that. And you are insisting that Ghanaians should pay more so as to help us out of the economic situation that we find ourselves in. So if they take the feelings of what appears to be the general majority of Ghanaians on board, then they will say that, okay, we'll go to the feeling of the Ghanaian people and say that, look, we are opposed to it. But look, it's a question that we have to ask ourselves. Should we get it through so as to save the economy, or it is possible to save the economy without necessarily imposing more hardship on the people of Ghana and their business?
Do you foresee the party at Adabraka? Do you foresee Adabraka issuing another statement? Because
after the eggs they have in their faces.
Arguably, tax issues are more public. Like people, like it's more direct than even appointing an minister. So if the party can say the people should oppose they should be able to come out and say these taxes we don't agree, unless of course they've already discussed the taxes with the government. You know, so I don't know. It's Adabraka to release something.
You know, from the background, I know that this matter of the taxes, and then the CI, the controversial CI from the Electoral Commission, have been some of the things that they have used as a way of engaging the majority side to agree a trade-off. so that, okay, can we do something about the ministers so that they go through, so that some things, or maybe you stop the ministers and then we allow the taxes, and then also, as for the CI, they don't want to compromise on it.
Yeah.
So there have been some discussions on how to agree a trade-off for some to go through, for some not to go through. Now, with the eggs they have in their faces, I'm wondering whether it would be prudent to want to issue a directive. However, let me say that the rules on how to pass items like this are different from...
They can't vote secretly?
No. This one, what happens is that because it's tax policy, simple majority is good to deal with it. Now, it requires a voice vote ordinarily.
The ayes have it.
Yes, but if there is a challenge and a member of leadership calls for division, in which case the House will be divided into two.
As in the ayes will go to the right, the nays will go to the left,
Exactly.
and then we count.
Yeah, they will count. In that case, it is no longer secret.
Okay, we'll take a break. When we come back, I think, Godfrey, Parliament is going to get very, very exciting in the next few days because of the new development we've seen. The numbers appeared tilted in the NDC side. What would they do with those numbers? All right. If I listen to GUTA, they are saying don't pass the taxes, don't go and represent yourself. I'm sure AGI agrees with the GUTA position. Oh, AGI
they told you.
Oh, I know they do.
They told you.
Okay, I heard the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of GUTA.
Where's the statement?
There's a story on citinewsroom.com.
The AGI statement.
No, there's no statement. It says something to that effect. Why are you stressing me on this issue?
What I'm saying is had strong feelings about it.
AGI,
they have a statement that you were reading. Where's the AGI one?
What I'm saying that. Okay, I am saying that based on everything I know about the way
they will most
AGI
likely
thinks.
No, you should so
AGI is very likely.
Most likely
they like to work behind closed doors.
To be fair, I know where you're going with this. This is the point. The people,
they're not going anywhere.
If you look at the people, if you look at the companies affected by this tax, you would have expected AGI to actually come out earlier. Just and because GUTA is more traders. These are manufacturing companies who are going to be affected, like Fabag. I spoke to Awuni last week, so I get where you're going with your question, but let me just not lose focus. Nathan, Take a Social Media Trends is next, and it's brought to us by Vodafone. All right, so what's trending, Nathan?
Well, a number of things trending. So trends like Thomas Partey, Kamal Dean, Edmond Addo, Joseph Painsil, Baba Rahman, all of them trending. Majid Ashmer, all of them trending because of the Black Stars and the game they played in Luanda yesterday. They drew 1-1 against Angola, and it was Osman Bukhari who came off the bench to score the equalizer. Other things trending, of course, and they are offshoots of the various news stories. So, for example, Antoine is trending. And then 2M Express is also trending. Remember, they were in the news for because of that road crash that occurred. Sam George is also trending, and amongst other things, Jubilee House trending, Kamala Harris trending, and all of that. If you go to some tech news, facial recognition firm Clearview has run nearly 1 million searches for US police. That's according to its founder, and the person spoke to the BBC. Now, CEO Juan Ton That also revealed Clearview now has 30 billion images scraped from platforms such as Facebook, taken without users' permission.
That's unlawful.
The company has been repeatedly fined millions of dollars in Europe and Australia for breaches of privacy. Critics argue that the police's use of Clearview puts everyone into, quote, a perpetual police lineup, end quote. Now, Matthew Guragelia from the Electronic Frontier Foundation says, quote, whenever they have a photo of a suspect, they will compare it to your face, and it's far too invasive. Clearview system allows a law enforcement customer to upload a photo of a face and find matches in a database of billions of images it has collected.
That was Tech and Social Media Trends.
Yo, bro, I beg, make you give me correct shock absorber. Or make a do video concept, then take the Gaussian P for the engine show you.
Hey, yawa humache. Every morning you the tear calls, they browse. Actually, something they.
Hey, Tago, the way Tom make hot, I grow best one if you no po. If it be you where you get Vodafone 1 Ghana promo them out, 20 minutes talk time to call all networks, where you start get data and 1 gig from 5 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. Bye. Anka, you go do pass me safe, Anka. You dial star 530 hash. Make we enjoy. You go fit subscribe as many times as you want.
Yes, plantain.
Yo, sweet Ama, take this by Vodafone 1 Ghana bundle. Moku vibe plus video calls and things. You catch the vibe. Early morning, 5 a.m. sharp.
Vodafone, further together.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Awesome is not enough when you can amplify it. I mean, way up. If your phone doesn't have a 5000 mAh battery that allows you to use it from morning to night for 2 days, or a super fast processor that makes you stream, download, and game at high speed, or a 50 megapixel camera that allows you to take stunning photos even at night, or a 6.6-inch FHD plus screen that brings images to life and expands your view, then you need to amp your awesome. Get the new Samsung Galaxy A14 and amp your style, your speed, your play, your power, your game, and your awesome. Visit any authorized Samsung store and make it yours today. Samsung Galaxy A14.
For Pepsodent, smiles are one of the most important things we have. The problem is, globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Pepsodent, with maximum cavity protection, helps to prevent the formation of cavities. Pepsodent, because every smile matters. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
1xBet. Easy betting, easy winnings. 1xBet, the most reliable service to make deposits easily with high odds and numerous bonuses on the spot. Register now at 1xBet.com.gh. Use promo code BESTODDSGH to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. Easy to use, easy to have a chance to win. 1xBet, reliable bookmaker. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
Debi abushe meni mana miyem na minimu se wodonti. Niyatiti ama ya pimpam.
11 minutes past 8. Here are a few comments on the taxes. Bernard, some of us in the mining sector are suffering. As a company registered with the Minerals Commission, the new taxes will require us to pay VAT on supplies, withholding taxes on purchase, the new 5% tax on pre-profit or pre-profit tax, 25% corporate tax, and PAYE and SNIT, as well as e-levy. Bernard, my name is Francis Timori, a tax consultant. This tax is part of the IMF deal. The minister said going to IMF has dire consequences. Again, employees are going to pay more taxes. Businesses are going to pay the growth and sustainability levy. This growth levy has been there since 2001. The only new thing is that the scope has been expanded. We are all going to suffer. I feel that we need to look more into the informal sector and tax them well. Yeah, I agree with you. The tax was for 9 companies for the 5%, but for the rest of us, it wasn't even there. So it's a new tax. I mean, if a tax affected only 9 companies, and now they've added 6 more groups of companies, and then it has been expanded to all mining companies, oil and gas companies, and then also every company else 2.5% is effectively a new tax. I wanted to look at the dynamics of Parliament for the next few moments. So, Sky, the sad news is that MP for Kumawu has died. Yeah. So, MPP's numbers is now 136 because there are 137 NPP MPs. There are 136. Speaker has ruled that court has ruled that of course, the independent candidate is on MPP's side. Yeah. So let's say they have 137. Now, yesterday, you and Ayaga said to me that for some motions or for a motion, when a motion does not get more than 50%, i.e. when there's 50-50,
it's lost.
The motion stands defeated. That's a very critical point. So NDC is 137 and MPP is 137. It means that NDC can effectively block everything. Now, here's where the thing gets interesting. The NDC MP for...
Question.
What's the name of his Asin something.
Yeah.
Because of the court case, he hasn't been seen in Parliament for a while.
The Supreme Court says he should stop holding himself out as
an MP. But we don't know if there's going to be a by-election or not.
No, so the matter, they are still challenging various...
So it's in limbo.
Yes.
So NDC has 136. But the other problem is that there's one NDC MPP MP who doesn't come to Parliament often.
Yeah, Ajwasafu.
So you can guarantee that you can see Friday she wasn't there.
No, she wasn't there on Friday.
So if they go to Parliament today and everybody else turns up, you're going to have NDC 136, MPP 135, and then Independent 1.
Yeah, so 136.
So on paper, NDC can defeat every motion that requires a simple majority.
Exactly.
But just before you get to that, you see, yesterday I was talking to you about how the lack of consistency in our parliament and the decision making will lead to bigger problems. Because if you listen to Francis Timor, and he's somebody I really respect when it comes to tax, he's somebody we speak to extensively. He knows what he's talking about, and he's telling us that this is part of the IMF deal. Now we all understand the situation that we are in. You need this to go through. Under normal circumstances, there should have been a certain level of consultation between the two.
What do you mean we need this to go through?
No, you don't get it.
You don't need this to go through if you do the other things that you've been told to.
No, I'm just saying. No, I am speaking on the basis of where the government stands with this. So you need this to go through. I'm sure if the shoe were on the other foot, the other side will tell you, okay, normally this is how they work. And we've had situations where the two sides have agreed that at this moment, we need to look at this dispassionately, right? But here we are now, based on what happened last week, or when did that happen? Friday.
Friday.
We are going to have what potentially was supposed to be an everyday meeting and decision-making day become something completely different.
I don't even think it's just because of Friday, Godfrey. You see, people have for a long time felt that Parliament has not lived up to expectation. The issue of people being overtaxed is real. Companies are struggling. The NDC has not asserted itself in Parliament. So the disappointment of what they did on Friday has now raised the stakes. All right? So if they go ahead and approve this, now, what's the name of this guy? GUTA.
Yes,
GUTA, you can say traditionally will have more MPP than NDC. But GUTA is saying that MP should not go there and go and vote for this thing. And GUTA is a lot of votes. You've already told me that one of the reasons why you think that GUTA appears more vociferous than AGI is that they have more numbers. Joseph Obi is no shrinking violet. He's always very clear what he wants. He's basically threatening the parliamentarians that if you go and vote for this thing, we will turn against you. Now, if you are NDC, what will you do? Because NDC has struggled with Aboso Kainsuame type of votes. Aboso Kainsuame Central, spare parts dealers and things. They already, people are saying NDC is like disappointing them with this parliamentary thing. You think NDC will go and support this tax? I don't think they will. But whilst we are talking, AGI just sent, so actually there's a document.
Okay.
AGI sent proposal. It's a 7-page proposal. Yes. It's a petition to the Finance Committee in Parliament to reconsider the Excise Tax Amendment Bill. So Nathan, I'm going to give it to you to study it.
I want to study it too.
Okay, let me put it on a platform.
Okay. So
So AGI is saying that, Godfrey, before you started asking, we already moved. So don't kind of be doing those. I asked. I saying that, where's AGI on this? AGI sent a 7-page. So compare. GUTA issued a 1-page statement.
You see, the reason why I brought this up.
But I didn't know that AGI sent a proposal. They worked behind the scenes.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying that perhaps they were, because you see, and just to be fair to the situation, I have also spoken to contacts within the AGI.
Yeah.
And some of their members had indeed, from the regions, indicated that they themselves were wondering what their position was on that.
Can I read passions to you?
Yes.
AGI notes to concern the recent report of the Finance
When
Committee.
is this dated, please? Give me a date.
This date. Oh, Godfred.
No, but we need a date. It's very important.
I don't know.
There's no date?
Please, AGI people, send me the date. Godfred is giving me stress.
No, just go.
Let me.
I think it's beside the point, but
good.
Just
AGI note to concern. Just a minute. Sorry, I've read.
You want me to read it?
Yes. Is it because it's long? I want to read highlights.
Okay, no problem.
AGI notes to concern the recent report of the Finance Committee of Parliament on the Excise Tax Amendment Bill being recommended for adoption and passing into law. Against the backdrop of multiplicity. So this is on excise bill. It's not on the other two. Please, are we making sense?
Tax,
so there are three.
This is the tax, the excise tax.
So there's the income tax amendment bill, there's the excise tax amendment bill, and then there's the growth and sustainability tax. This document is a proposal in relation to the excise tax amendment bill. All right. Now the key part of this that I think the AGI is focused on is
the petition.
Paragraph 4. Need to read paragraph 4 for me. The point 4.
Yes, point 4. So point 4 says AGI's petition to the government is to reconsider the proposed decision in abandoning the excise duty for sugar sweetened beverages and juices, while the current excise duty on mineral waters be waived off in conformity with the ECOWAS directive, that the excise duty of 25% on spirits produced locally be maintained, and the proposed increment to 50% be put on imported spirits.
No, read it again in English. Slow. And by the way, waived off, I think, is a misnomer.
Because waived,
you waive. This is what they call in English. What? It's not a language, but let's speak it correctly.
Anyway,
so waive, not wave off.
Yes. So it says AGI's petition is to the government is for their government to reconsider the proposed decision. Okay. To abandon the excise duty for sugar sweetened beverages and juices, while the current excise duty on mineral waters be waived.
Now they list the 5 concerns of the beverage industry.
Yes.
Informing this. Can you just give us the highlights?
So they say 1, heavy macroeconomic burden on beverage industry. That's concern 1.
And concern
2, high production costs.
All right.
Okay, now this is where they talk about the fact that utilities and things cost a lot. So these things have a bearing on what they do. Concern number 3, preserving employment and value chain impacts.
That's number 3.
Yes.
And number 4?
Impact on revenue generation.
And then number 5.
Then they go on to detail
different kind of drinks, malt drinks,
spirits.
Okay. So the point, I feel Godfred still has a point. All right. So there are 3 taxes: income tax amendment, excise duty amendment, and then the growth and sustainability. When I spoke to Fabag, which is Awuni, they complain about all 3. GUTA is complaining about all 3. But it seems as if the beverage companies will be direly affected by this one. So AGI sent a 7-page memorandum. So is the AGI saying that they support the growth and sustainability one? Because that's going to increase the number of companies to be paying that 5% profit before tax. It's going to include mining companies and oil and gas companies 1% of production value. And then all other companies will pay 2.5% profit before tax. Is AGI saying they support this?
I think they have to speak to this. They have to come out.
Fred, call AGI for me.
And speak to this as to what exactly their position is on this matter. We understand that they are interested particularly in the industrial sector and what companies do generally. Because, if you remember the old days of Patrice Villas and the kinds of...
Now, don't forget, this tax is being positioned like a sin tax.
Yeah.
It's like we're saying people
consume these things, so they should be punished, quote unquote.
Yeah, so there's again, for me, I am trying to balance the business concern with the parliamentary intrigue and the public advocacy angle. Because, again, context, as we speak, there are people protesting in different parts of the world. South Africa, bad governance and also things around cost of living. Kenya, elections and also high cost of living. Uganda, they are preparing for something like this. All right. So, and the problem we have in Ghana is that people feel that legislature is balanced enough to
protect their interest.
To protect the interest of the citizens who they feel the government is not listening to. And the opposition party has understood this and has informed its MPs to take a certain position. Now, again, the NDC didn't only talk about the approval. NDC basically asked their MPs not to even go and campaign the last 2 weeks and just sit through and oppose a number of bills.
Yeah, but their interest then was particularly about
no, they said the CI and the other.
The CI was actually the
so
interest.
You don't think the NDC as a party has stated a position on this tax proposal?
I've not heard them clearly, because I mean, again, when you spoke to Abuja recently about the road tolls that are to be reintroduced, I think he took quite a very crafty position,
technical position.
Exactly. That look, if they would do A, B, C, D,
then they will agree.
And they would.
So you don't think the NDC as a party has been very clear on these taxes?
Yeah, I think they would need to give us clarity as to what exactly their position.
Let's get clarity from the AGI. Humphrey Yimdaka is the president of the association. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Bernard.
Hope you are well.
The Lord is grateful.
Amen. Is the AGI's position to be understood only in relation to the excise tax amendment, for which you sent a 7-page memorandum to the committee, or does your position include all three, the other two as well?
Well, thank you, Bernard, for the opportunity. We presented this document. I recall your colleagues in the panel section asking when did we present this document. This was presented way back when these were tabled as part of the fiscal year's revenue mobilization strategy of government. So what you seek to do is that you identify the relevant committees that go into this, and then you try and expose them to the ramifications of the tax increases that is seek to impose. So the said document of 7-page was on the excise duty affecting the beverage industries badly, and then that of the sustainability and other related taxes. We have engaged Parliament. Even this afternoon, we have a further engagement with the Finance Minister on these taxes. Issues like that, you try and lobby, you try and get them to understand the ramification of what they seek to do and the impact on the value chain and other related issues. I mean, no businessman enjoys taxes, neither any individual paying taxes, because these taxes are not welcoming. We stated our position very clearly, and I granted an interview sometime last week, stating our position that these are not welcoming taxes. They are intrusive, they increase our cost of operation, they make us uncompetitive. However, considering the state of the estate, we will engage government and then propose alternatives, either staggering or total abolition, or whichever way that we believe we can support government will do. We have been stating that other forms of taxation, expanding the tax bracket, the compliance level, the efficiency of collection should be the focus of government. And we have stated this clearly.
Some people feel the AGI can be more aggressive in your opposition to these taxes for a couple of reasons. The nature of our parliament now shows that for the first time in a long time, a government can be defeated on any of its motions. That's point number one. And point number two, there are already a pile-up of taxes and haircuts on people, mark-to-market losses, domestic debt exchange. So people are feeling the heat. Interest rates have gone up. Inflation is through the roof. Exchange rates have deteriorated. So when you consider all the macroeconomic challenges that businesses are facing, they would expect a more aggressive opposition to these taxes, particularly when the government has been offered many alternatives. In fact, I refer you to the pensioner individual bondholders document they presented to the Ministry of Finance, which included over 20 different fiscal proposals, expenditure, revenue, things that they said could save us over 80 billion cedis. So people feel like, why should government come and say they want to take 4 billion from us again when they haven't done all the things we've said? And the AGI, yes, you are engaging, yes, you are talking to them, but they expect a bit more aggression because you are the guys who receive these, who pay these taxes, and they feel that you are going to pass them on to us anyway. So for you, even if the tax is passed, at the end of the day, I'm the one going to pay still. So what's your response to that?
Well, Bernard, the approach to negotiation and engagement varies. what we seek to do first is to table a paper and expose government or the decision makers on the impact of such a decision. So when you do that, you engage the various sectors that are involved. That becomes your first position. The second position, like I did say, sometime this afternoon we'll go in for further engagement. It's good you allow the parties to understand and share knowledge, evidence-based, scientific-based. Some will prefer you going on radio and be screaming. Some will want you to go on the street and demonstrate. Bear in mind, we are entrepreneurs, we own industries, and we manage our space. So our approach will not necessarily be to shut down. We will transfer the cost, as you stated. Number two, alternatives are there to such producers. The end impact, if our position is not taken, might be to result into other forms of transaction which will not be in favor of the manager of the state. So to us, we deploy reasonable approaches to make sure that our voices are heard. And if that is not heard, alternatives are there to us, like passing on the cost to the consumer, and that who feels it is government, or bringing in other goods or finished goods who feels the pinch. The dollar feels the pinch. So we give alternatives to government. So the approach by other institutions or other bodies by going on the street and screaming might not be our approach, but we use meaningful engagement tools to make sure the understanding goes to Parliament. So you see the paper we send to the committee, because they are the decision makers. So we sit down with them and engage them and show them
So now that the three bills are in front of the MPs, and I understand Friday is when they will make a decision on it.
Yes.
Based on the submissions you've made to the committee, what do you expect on Friday?
Well, like I said, this afternoon we're going to a meeting. We had an appointment with the finance minister that he's confirmed that we should have further discussion before Friday. And it's a prayer that he will listen to our position and possibly amend the said document as tabled. If not, we'll see what the next step is.
So you are looking for amendment of aspects of the excise tax?
Technically, we do not believe in the taxes. Like I stated, they are not welcoming taxes. They are intrusive. They add to the cost of doing business. They make us uncompetitive. And for that cause, we believe government should really look at this tax.
So I know, Humphrey, I'm not trying to be smart. I'm trying to get clarity. So are you saying that withdraw the tax and bring it back? Or are you saying change some aspects of it and then let it pass?
That is why we'll go back into negotiation with them this afternoon and see how best we can meet ourselves halfway.
All right, thank you. Humphrey Imdaka is the president of AGI. They've been engaging Parliament. And the point, though, we need to emphasize that this thing is going on Friday for vote. And as we analyze the numbers, the plot thickens. A couple of quick things to tell before we take your comments on this. Heritage Christian College is accredited by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission and the Nurse and Midwifery Council to offer a number of programs with their ultra-modern and well-equipped skills lab for practical. So if you want to be a nurse, you want to talk to Heritage Christian College. Now, other programs, BBA, accounting, marketing, HR, banking and finance, etc. Call them on 054 7777731 or dial star 789 star 300 hash or go to hcuc.edu.gh for more information. Now, at the British Council, we see students from all over the world with dreams of a bright future coming together for quality education that achieves goals. Now, those who study abroad in countries like the UK are getting much more than just a degree. They are getting a world of valuable experiences. Visit the British Council website to find out how you can own their future.
Now, it was right after his studies in recycle management that Paul Kofi accepted the challenge of building houses with plastic waste. Today, not only does he help in recycling waste to save the environment, he provides jobs for many Ghanaians. At APSA, this is what we call Africanacity, the distinct ability of the Ghanaian to always get things done. Africanacity is our inspiration. It defines who we are and what we do. To find out more, visit apsa.com.gh. Grabbing your favorite drink for all your different occasions can be tricky sometimes, but no need to stress. Your favorite Coca-Cola has you covered. Are you looking for real ice-cold refreshment to quench your thirst and complement your meals? Then grab your favorite 300 ml Coke Classic plastic bottle at 5 cedis or the same sized 300 ml Coke Zero, Fanta and Sprite at 4 cedis. You can also get the 1.5 liter Coke at 20 cedis and the same size Coke Zero, Fanta and Sprite at 18 cedis to share with friends and family. Bring the excitement and fun to all your occasions and enjoy the real ice cold refreshments with your friends and family. Enrich your breakfast with the nourishing goodness of Dano Milk Cool Cow instant powdered milk. The rich taste of Dano milk makes a perfect combo with your tea, oats, cocoa, etc. to give you that great tasting breakfast you've always desired. Dano milk Cool Cow is fortified with vitamin A, and it's also a good source of protein and nutrients such as vitamin B12 and iodine to help you stay nourished and strong always. Dano milk, go for it. This ad is FDA approved. And Indomie is introducing a new one. Indomie beef is the latest addition to the Indomie family, and you can just get it and enjoy. It's a delightful meal with the appetizing aroma of beef to fill your belly and leave you smiling. In just a few minutes, your Indomie beef is ready to eat. Indomie tastes great.
All right, so 8:34, we have a number of things to deal with this morning. At 8:50, I'll be speaking to some people who are doing some really interesting things in the social space, social enterprises, making a difference, reach for change, all of those nice things at 8:50. 9:30, the Heritage Month on Air series comes on. We have a few more days in the month of March to end. We're going back to the history of the military. I am told that Parliament will lay, I'm not sure the technical guy help me. I don't understand these things. They will lay, I don't know, whatever. That they're going to vote on Friday. All right. You know, all these things. They will lay the paper, they will do something. Basically, the key date is Friday. Today is what? 28, right? So tomorrow is 29, Thursday is 30th. So Friday, 31st March.
Is the day they also rise for the Easter.
Yes, and that's when they would seek to pass these taxes. Now, I see your frustration with the conclusion of my interview with AGI. And you were sort of prodding me to try and get a specific answer because GUTA says they should reject. AGI says we've engaged. But Governor, you need to understand that.
Why I do?
AGI
is a different kind
more
of body.
Established companies.
Yes.
They are part of the system.
Yes.
They sent a memorandum because they have access to the... You see, you can't have access to government at some level.
Yeah.
And then go and be shouting as if you've not been heard. No. If a group of national service persons go and start shouting on the media that government should stop something, you can understand. But AGI people, they can call the minister and meet him tomorrow morning.
Yes.
So it will be a bit unfair for them to come and use the same method that other people are using.
No, I have not. You see, first of all, my push for AGI and Mr. Humphrey Yimdaki, good morning, is because my experience of how these organizations and how they operate as lobby groups in other countries is that they could do more. And that is all I want to see. I feel that the situation we find ourselves in, Ghana is on the path of industrialization. If you look at government policy over the past 4 or 5 years.
We are not on a path
hold
of
on, you hold on. Oh, calm down.
We are on a rhetoric of industrialization. We are not on the path.
So I'm just saying that for most of these things,
yes,
it would be useful to have AGI's position being more clearly defined. And I understand the fact that you need to do a lot of backroom talking. But like I was saying, I was having a conversation with some of his colleagues at the regional level, and they were asking, like, Godfred, we don't know what our position is.
But it's also because Ghana is an import-led economy. So AGI is not that strong. Do you understand? Like, if you were in, like, Germany, the equivalent of AGI in Germany is probably even a political party.
They'll shut down the country.
They are so powerful because they are manufacturers. Yeah. This country, the manufacturers are not many. The other problem is that a lot of them are not Ghanaian companies. So the manufacturing companies
but they employ Ghanaians.
You don't even get where I'm going with this.
Okay.
Let me be careful. What I'm saying is that, you see, GUTA, they have numbers. A lot of people import and sell. So GUTA can get 10,000 people on the street tomorrow morning. AGI, if I run a steel company of 5,000 employees, maybe the executives are only 10.
Go on the move.
You get me? So no, let me give me 2 seconds. So I'm saying that the AGI's tools that they can use are not the same as GUTA. Yes. Number 2, AGI has a more established technical unit. So, for example, what's the name of the guy? Setu Makwabo has been there for like 10 years. He's an economist.
Yes.
So they have research papers, they have position papers. So AGI is always at the table. So if you're always at the table, you can't come and not be shouting on the rooftop when you're on the table.
But the point for me is, what is?
Do you get me? You're not like somebody who is
the impact of you being at the table consistently.
What that does that they rope you in.
Yes. So and my fear sometimes is most of the time they end up feeling too much like part of the system.
Because they don't have.
Hold on.
They are afraid of political victimization.
You know what?
But you cannot be. You cannot be.
Godfred. Well, you see, let's not.
No, I understand the world we live in.
I went to the
there has to
office.
Be a point.
I went to the office of an economist 10 years ago, and he gave me a book titled "Ghana Government Business Relations from 1960 to 2008."
I've seen the book.
Sky. It's a tale of political victimization
100%.
of all kinds of manufacturing entities.
Yes.
Siao,
they'll shut you down like that.
Something. You get me? So if I'm manufacturing entity, I understand what Humphrey is doing.
Bernard, you see,
I will write a memorandum, go and meet finance committee, and I will try and convince them to come to my position. Because you see, if I'm an importer, what can you do to me? I can import rice from Thailand. If you cancel it, I'll go to Dubai and import second, whatever. But if I set up a steel plant, it's in situ. I have 2,000 employees. The calculations I make is not the same. So my advocacy, that's why they are trying to be a bit more, want of a better word, cerebral.
Yes.
All right. So I'll cut them some slack.
You know who we cannot cut slack?
Who?
Is the TUC.
But yesterday they said Asogli something.
No, you see, TUC traditionally has been one of the major pillars protecting the interests of industries, workers, and the ordinary guy.
Fred, call the people from TUC for me.
Now, you would notice that UNICOF,
I forget
Union of Industry, Commerce and Finance Workers. What are the industry, commerce, finance workers? Go through the bill. You would identify some of the key industries in there and the commercial institutions that will be impacted. Then you have the, ICU. Is it ICU?
So there's ICU, which is the Tema one, Industrial and Commercial
Workers Union.
Then there's the
UNICOF,
the Kumsin people.
That's the Ghana Federation of Labour.
Then there's UNICOF, which is finance people, so that's of the financial institutions.
Exactly.
Then you have TUC, which is everybody else.
Yeah, so TUC is the umbrella body.
Trade union.
So it takes on board both UNICOF and ICU.
So what have they done?
But the Federation of Labour is outside that realm.
But it's the same argument I'm making that, Godfred. You see, once you are TUC boss, Mayday, you and the president are sitting, you are both wearing Mama Tali, and you're having tete-a-tete. President invites you to have engagement on proposals for something. You start feeling important. So you are now part of the system. So you can't come and sit on and be shouting and say we don't agree.
No.
Unless you are into carbon.
Bernard.
Who doesn't care?
Bernard.
Do you get me? So I'm not defending them. I'm saying that, you see, there's a very thin line. If you want to be true, to the union you represent, even your associations have to be very clear what you do.
Yeah, but number one, some of them are imposed by law. So there are specific statutes in this country that require TUC representation.
The niceties of big manism.
No. See, Bernard, the idea is to take them on board so that
front page of graphic,
they would represent the interests of workers.
It's a big man.
You see, so but Bernard, look, I have actually grieved over this thing for some time now. Because the TUC of old is not the same TUC we see today.
But everything of old is not the same. It's the media of old, the media you see today. It's the MPP of old, the MPP you see today.
But we are doing our part.
It's the church of old, the church you see today. Everything has come down.
We are doing our part. So, you see, if you have the TUC robustly stating its position, withdrawing its tools when they must do it, we wouldn't get to where we are today.
They say Asogli should they say Asogli has sacked some 3 workers who joined a union. So Asogli, the last one, when we present that, the last money, the last money, the last money, the last one. Charlie, the Kaka will say, Wasumo Nakai, Wasumo Nakai, Wasumo Nakai, Wasumo Nakai, the last money. So do you see? Yesterday they said if Asogli don't know, they don't restate the people. I'm happy to tell me. So they have conveniently forgotten about the taxes and they are dealing with Asogli. Guys, so the things, the Asogli is a convenient distraction.
Bernard, we can't. Oh, yeah,
yes, guy.
You see, we cannot afford that. You see, it is
No, you have already afforded it. So the last hope is the NDC. That's why people are angry. See, the NDC. Let me tell you. These people. What's the name? Ghana law. The lawyers. Papa, where are the law people?
Ghana Bar Association.
I don't even know the name of their president. They go. All the groups are not talking. So you see, the reason the thing is paining. As long as the thing is paining me because NDC is the last one. And the NDC want to make some way now. So the thing, no.
Okay. But it's shocking though. Like just because the conversation has really. But like
everybody has. You know what Samen said? That why are we sitting here blaming NDC when all the people have run away? You know what he said last week? Everybody has kept quiet. He said, "Is it NDC who come and save you?" Everybody has disappeared, and so everybody is managing their own. But this is the other thing which you should also see. Some people are filling the gap. So, for example, independent bondholders. Senyo Hosi and these guys, what's the name of the guy? The Duan and Entry. So when people are provoked, they come in and then they Martin Pebu and Co. They try and address specific issues
because their interest is affected.
Because the institutionalized forms of resistance have all gone quiet.
Why is that? You remember I raised this issue here, I
always tell journalists that you see one way of remaining true as a journalist. Take trotro, take Uber, do what ordinary people do, eat kenke and fish. If you start driving a V8 with air conditioning, they start inviting you. Some meetings they invite me, I don't go. They invite you to some meeting. These are the senior journalists. Hey, we are coming to discuss the. They say, we have a special meeting to come. See, as soon as they put you in that meeting, you start feeling important. Say, why do you think Kwesi Pratt has maintained his? You understand? He always holds his bag. Where's his?
It doesn't mean.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I'm saying that you see, it's a posture. What I'm saying is that politics is very. I want a good word. These days the words are not coming. It's insidious in the way it can contaminate you.
Yes.
So if you are the leader of any of these institutions and you are not very clear what your mandate is, that's why I like Angel Kabonu. Angel Kabonu is always for the worker. Since I knew him, Greater Accra president of CHAS, Nagrat vice president, he's been consistent across governments.
You see the word you used.
Because he knows that his income comes from the workers. He's not looking for post. He doesn't want any appointment. He's driving his normal car, wearing his yellow shirt. On air, he's screaming his head off. Just he's free. But you see, it's a difficult road because when you are in Ghana, we like big mountains, and you see, politicians know this. Let's invite the top money shows to come for a small meeting and let's talk about
the system.
You see, you start feeling like Charlie.
Bernard,
we are the men.
No, Bernard.
Then when you go and they say Aloski, but you just went for a meeting. We told you this. Why you want to shout?
Bernard, you see,
that's the problem.
No, Bernard, you see.
So it is. He said, evil communication corrupt good manners. Once you start. What's the word? You start hobnobbing with the big shots. It's very difficult to be true to the struggle.
No, you see, I disagree with that view because you see, we call ourselves the fourth estate of the realm, right? Is that not what they call us?
Yeah.
Now that means that the executive, the parliament, the judiciary, they are the first three.
Yes.
When they are doing things, we the people in the media are supposed to keep our searchlights on them and to insist on the right thing being done.
Yes, please.
There are a number of ways we do that. Through advocacy, through publications that we do, and then it could always be outside the realm of these two things, which is sometimes involved in engaging the people outside the limelight.
Yes.
For you to appreciate what exactly
I'm not saying we shouldn't do that.
So I'm saying
if you don't remember why you are there.
Exactly. So you see, Bernard, what I'm saying is you cannot persuade me that the likes of what do you call it?
That's what I'm saying. That Kwesi Pratt is the example of what we should all do.
Bernard, you sitting here.
But there are not many.
You have attended all kinds of meetings, including those with big shots.
Because me, I have my galamsey on the side.
But that has not corrupted.
No, because of galamsey. Galamsey is not the mining of gold. I'm just going to do one to this morning.
Extra. So what I'm saying is that, look, it is possible to meet with these big shots.
Yeah.
Have them take your views on a burning national issue and still be true to the cause of the ordinary.
No, I agree with you.
And I do not shirk from that responsibility. The reason is that there are times where there are things you would ordinarily want to say on air. But if you read the implications for national security or the nation, you would rather share that privately.
Yeah, I get you.
So
that is an important part of our work.
Exactly.
So you are not discounting those meetings. And again, I'm not saying it in a flippant. What I'm basically saying is that it appears as though these bodies, TUC, and particularly the Ghana Bar Association, have gone quiet over a period of time. But I'm saying historically, you see, Sky, again, his history is very important. I've mentioned to you AGI. And I don't blame Humphrey for the way he's going about it because of the history of industry. Now, AGI, the UP tradition is predominantly lawyers and the elite. All right. So again, Rawlings gave them a course. That's the other thing. You see, when you have a dictator, a military ruler, whatever, the lawyers, the journalists, they all came together. A double hand, culture of silence. Rawlings is no longer there, and they have not redefined their role. That's why I always tell you that advocacy is easy to oppose.
It's not that they have not redefined; they have not evolved.
Good. They have not evolved. So that's the point. So if they don't say, look, lawyers of 2023, our challenges are not lawyers of 1985. So yes, in 85 there was a culture of silence. So we were the guys who speak for the voiceless. Now you have 500 radio stations.
But that is why. Hold on. But that is why, Sky, for instance, you are having whispers of what is called the Law Society or something, as compared to the GB as an alternative.
Yeah. So because they are failing to evolve.
The Law Society feels we are the representatives of 2023.
They will become irrelevant as they are becoming.
Yeah, Bernard.
And the TUC one is more severe because even within the organized labor, they're already divided, right? And that division has already weakened them. And now you're seeing the largest group, which is the TUC. I don't think, look, when I was in the university, TUC Secretary General was a fearsome guy. In fact, when I was in university primary school, there was a guy who was the head of some fair guy.
When he backs,
he's fair skinned. He's from the Volta region.
Is it Kwame Alovi or
no?
Kwame Alovi was some other. Is it one of them?
Deadly guy.
When he backs the country.
When we're in school and they say they are striking, they will say we should go home because even the teachers can't teach. Deadly. When they gone and they are Tewu, Fusak and UTAG. So UTAG is like the big lectures. Fusak is the senior staff. Then the Tewu will be everybody else. They will close the toilet every
Education Workers Union.
And the guy was a messenger.
In the university.
But he was deadly. Those people, they don't make men like that anymore. Because now, we all want to be big men.
I told you my
That's the problem. So it's a question of leadership. There's no leadership and truth. Is it true leadership? Authentic leadership represents the interest of the people. And I'm not saying they should just oppose government for everything.
But there are things calling for opposition.
No, I'm qualifying once. I'm saying that once you're a leader of workers, the interest of the worker must be at the heart of what you do.
Exactly.
We are not seeing that. So let's cut Humphrey some slack. Let's call the TUC people to come out of their dormancy. Let's call the other groups to come and support what GUTA. Now, GUTA is the last defender of democracy.
The last defender of their own interest.
And the last point, NDC.
Yes.
We want to know your position on the taxes.
Honorable Abuja was telling me, I called him a while ago, and he said that, well, they have a position, and the position is that they are opposed to it.
Yeah?
He gave the indication that there may have been a communication of this in the past, but I said through all our records,
we haven't found anything.
So
please, we are not encouraging you to oppose it. We are saying, tell us your position.
But Bernard.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
As if they should tell us what they want.
That's true.
They should tell us what they
What's happening to Nooks too?
Oh, you too. Do you have a list? Maybe I'll give you a show. I have money to earn. Let me
do one quick birthday. I beg you.
Me too. I even have one.
Let me do your birthday before.
But the other point I'll make is that you see all these groups who are going dormant. Dormancy and irrelevance are neighbors.
When you become dormant, you become irrelevant over time.
Think about it.
And I'm very worried by the Ghana Bar Association one.
Ghana Bar Association.
Yeah, very, very worried.
I have an interview to do, so let me do it.
Let me just quickly. Happy birthday wishes to Archibald Daku Boateng, CEO of El Sayus Company Limited, footballer who says he has become an entrepreneur. He's doing really, really
Also,
well.
say happy birthday to Edem Agbe of Participatory Development Associates. I think your birthday is today. Happy birthday, coming from the team. Happy birthday to you, Edem Agbe.
And let me just read this quick comment on the previous interview that we did. Is coming in from Tina, who says that we as a company have had to look inward and change our strategy to leverage local raw materials, which means developing agribusiness value chain, local investment, etc. Government can give exemptions of these taxes for those who are using this approach. And secondly, growth and sustainability tax is really unattractive for us who are practicing sustainability vigorously.
Sky has a list of people he's trying to worry today, and I'm restraining him. He has a whole list of things that he said they've disappeared from the system. We'll revive them.
No, but that's what the nukes one. They get him.
But they did a demo last week at Parliament. They picketed over something.
Yeah, they went with Kofi Asare. And I saw your good friend there, the tax for justice guy.
Yeah,
he was there. In fact, the NDC should call a demo. You know, the last time I was telling you that, look, the strategy they ought to have used when they were approving the new ministers was to have, mobilize. You don't come and sit there and be telling them what to do. Mobilize the people. Let them go there in front of Parliament.
They lost the vote.
Demand. And the MPs who are NDC MPs, they will be panicking.
It's okay.
They will know that if they go out, challenge somebody.
All right, so 8:54. Or is it? Yeah, 8:54 Citi Breakfast Show. Couple of quick things to do before we get back on the discussion segment. Right, so okay, let me make this very simple. My friend Solomon is the country manager for Reach for Change Ghana, and Reach for Change believe that social enterprises have a role to play in solving the myriad of problems we face, whether it's youth unemployment, poverty, inequality, inclusion of women and youth, a lot of things we're discussing really. And later today, they have a very big program to bring some thinking and ideas into action to solve some of these problems. Now, this interview is just to give a highlight of what we'll be doing this afternoon. So who's Reach for Change? What are they into? Why should we be interested in what they discuss? What is a social enterprise? What does a social enterprise do to help address some key problems, particularly in a Ghanaian context where our problems appear to be like hydra-headed, they never end. So let me welcome Solomon Chum, Country Manager, Reach for Change. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Sophia Breitholtz.
Hello.
Is the CEO, Global CEO, Reach for Change. In Ghana means you're a big woman. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm really happy to be here in
Wonderful.
Ghana.
So let's start from the global and come to the Ghana. Reach for Change Global. What's Reach for Change?
What is Reach for Change?
Yes.
I mean, we're on a mission. We're on a mission to find fantastic, inspirational people who use entrepreneurship in order to change the world. So very simple. I mean, there's lots of problems we're facing, and it's easy to be really bogged down by all the problems. But entrepreneurs, they can use innovative thinking. They can test models. They can, they're not afraid to fail and get back on the horse and try again. And that's the kind of persistence and the kind of grit and the kind of skill set that we need to create new jobs. And to create new opportunities, and also at the same time to do better by people and planet.
So how old is this organization, and how long have you been doing this type of thing?
Well, we started in Sweden in 2010.
Okay.
But we're not a Swedish organization. We're an organization that is really focused on empowering local ideas and local innovators. So we have a great global team who are all placed in the different markets that they work across Africa and Ethiopia, Senegal, and Ghana, and also across Europe, in Sweden and Bulgaria, in the Baltics.
I see.
And I've been doing this for the past 6 years.
Wow.
It's almost my anniversary now.
Amazing. So it's 13 years. of Reach for Change Global,
Yes.
6 years of you as well.
Yes.
So when you say you use entrepreneurship to solve problems, can you elaborate? What when you say entrepreneurship? I mean, we're told land, labor, capital, enterprise. So like it's like the fourth factor of production. Is that what you mean, or you mean something more?
I think it's similar to what
Yeah.
we mean, but I mean, an entrepreneur is a person who has an idea, is
Mhm.
seeking to solve a problem, is seeking to find an interesting solution and to
Mhm.
grow a business
All right.
ultimately,
All right.
which is sustainable. And what we're trying to introduce is the idea that entrepreneurship is not just about also building a big business and making money,
Okay.
but entrepreneurship can also be used to build a sustainable business that can actually have a positive impact on people and planet.
Hence the social enterprise.
Hence the social.
So it's not just the financial, but the social reward.
Yes.
Balancing the two. But there's so many problems in the world, right, Sophia? Like world peace, all kinds of things. So obviously you can't solve all.
No.
So are there sectors or types of problems that interest you? Or are there problems that you encourage entrepreneurs to focus on
Yeah.
in the whole raft of challenges we face globally?
Well, I mean, globally, what we're looking at is, of course, an acute climate crisis.
Okay.
And we believe that there are entrepreneurship solutions out there that can help people adapt and that can help find creative solutions for that. So that's an area. We also believe in working with the entrepreneurs that nobody else sees. Maybe the entrepreneurs who have potential but don't have money and don't have network and don't have access to capital. These can be, youth or women or people from minorities in different countries, dependent. Yeah. So those that don't have a chance but who really have good solutions, and that's really important to tackle inequality, which is one of the major challenges we have. And of course, what we see in Ghana and our African markets is so much youth coming out, so much potential, but limited opportunities for jobs. So how can we help these youth, get the skill set, identify this feeling of grit, this feeling of being able to, change your own destiny and to create jobs. And that's really important for us here in Ghana. We want to do that also by supporting women and the people who are maybe left behind from the traditional systems.
Wonderful. So, Sophia, I'll come to Solomon now. So that's a nice sort of global picture. Let's talk about Reach for Change Ghana. How long has this organization been in existence, and what's been the story so far?
Right, thank you. So in Ghana, we formally started operations in 2012.
Okay.
So there's our 11th year, if I should say, yeah. And over the period, we've managed to support over 300 social enterprises who have also gone on to impact and support the lives of over 800,000 women, youth, and children.
Okay.
Primarily, this is something we've been able to do based on the kind of partnerships that over the period we were also able to secure. These are partners and collaborators with shared vision, aligned vision, so that made it quite easy for us.
All right.
We realized that those we've worked with over the period are quite smart, very brave, very passionate. Like Sophia said, these are the people that you would often not even give a chance that they can affect a particular system.
All right.
But we've worked with them over this decade, and that is what we've seen, where we've made this
So
huge
10 years of work in Ghana, 300 or more social enterprises, over 800K. Any case studies, you can't just give me an example of one or two social enterprises that you are proud of in the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
So personally, I'll say Hayford Sian, who is currently the Director General of the Ghana Library Authority.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Hayford was in our incubator at the early times. He had this project called the Street Library, where he was very much focused on literacy programs for children and using this mobile library to visit communities that were deprived to support these children with their educational needs, so that in a way also reduce the inequality gap that we had seen between children of school-going age in the urban centers and rural centers. Today, look at where he is. His work has been recognized such that he's also being asked to lead such
national
a
project for libraries.
level. Yeah. We have entrepreneurs like Shronko Academy who started with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you name them, quite a number.
Surunku Academy, she's the coding girl. What's her name?
Regina
Honu. She's also part of this cohort.
They're all part of
all right, brilliant. So now let's talk about Partnering for Change. This is an event. It's happening today. What's that about?
Well, I would say this is not an event. This is more of an initiative. This is something that I'm sure Sophia would also speak to briefly. But it started back in 2018. The first one in Stockholm, I believe. And for us, the objective of this is to bring together all the social actors you can find where we collaborate to drive more impact that is meaningful and relevant. Sophia talked about the fact that we are very much interested in seeing poverty reduced, also reducing inequalities, creating jobs for the youth, and also economically empowering women. This is something we've been doing. It's in our DNA as an organization, but we can't do it all alone because it's a myriad of problems, like you also mentioned at the beginning. So this event is going to bring together, today's event will bring together our existing partners who have supported us over the period and potential ones, all of us together in a room to discuss how we can practically collaborate and drive more social impact. And then also look at the startup ecosystem that is really thriving in the country. It's coming at an opportune time. We have issues of high youth unemployment, but then the environment is also ripe to push and support entrepreneurs. So how do we collaborate to take advantage of this emergent situation so that we can address some of the systemic challenges we have as a country?
So before I come back to who do we expect to see there today?
Well, quite a number of partners, state institutions, partners such as MasterCard. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention.
Why not?
Quite a number of them. Yeah, so GIZ, we've been working with over the years. We have Scania, bringing in a representation, Burma from the insurance sector. The European Union obviously will be in there. So from institutional partners to private sector actors and then state institutions like the Ghana Enterprises Agency.
So this is on the Ghana side. Sophia, globally, I'm sure there are also some huge partnerships that have brought the Reach for Change to its, 10th anniversary, right? So who are some of the global partners?
Yeah, I mean, what we're doing here is building community, basically, also, and allowing our entrepreneurs to have a platform and to work with that. So some of the global partners that we're working with, we've been working with the Jacobs Foundation here in Ghana for the last year, which is a really inspiring program, bringing edtech entrepreneurs to the forefront, helping them to, actually support and change the educational system in Ghana. So that's super exciting. And then I'm also here with some board members, which is very exciting from our global board. And we have a great representation of Ghana board members as well.
I see.
So, yeah.
So I see there are going to be two key panel discussions. You've hinted making cross-sector collaboration work for social impact and then the startup ecosystem in Ghana. Solomon, do I take it that this has grown consistently, right? You are talking about ecosystem now. So probably a decade and a half ago, there was nothing like this.
Yeah. I mean, when we started, I would say that the phenomenon of social entrepreneurship was even more of a blue ocean in this country. We've pioneered this sector, and over time, we've seen others come on board. These collaborators and actors in the ecosystem, these partners we are talking about, state institutions, have come to a point where they realize that majority of our problems can be solved at a grassroots level by these entrepreneurs who have this very innovative and brilliant solutions. So yes, this is well thought through. This is something that from a collaborative perspective, we know that it will be meaningful and relevant not only to our partners and to us, but also to the larger beneficiaries out there that we seek to serve on a daily basis.
Very interesting indeed. I'm talking to the country manager for Reach for Change, Solomon Chum, and the global CEO for the same organization, Sophia Breitholtz. They have a very exciting discussion today. It's a program to basically build community, as she says, building a social enterprise ecosystem in the country. Partnering for Change is the name of the event. I believe this is strictly by invitation. People have already been invited, but obviously beneficiaries who want to benefit from this space should be listening to this show, because I'm sure you talk a lot about. So what's your main expectation, Sophia? So you've come to Ghana, have a discussion. What are your top two expectations? When you're done, what will be success for you?
Well, I want this to be a call to action.
Okay.
Really, an understanding of the partners, but also wider community to understand that this is something we can do together. That there is potential that we can use entrepreneurship to actually benefit those who need it the most. So, I mean, I want to leave here today with wider programs, more support, and more community members who have joined us on this call to action.
Amazing stuff. Thank you, Sophia, for passing through the show. She's the CEO of she's the Global CEO for Reef for Change. And it's an organization founded in 2010. It's founded in Sweden as Global. And they do quite a number of things with many partners. And they are in Ghana today for this event called Partnering for Change. Solomon is the country manager. He's the host. And he will be moderating a panel to look at the startup ecosystem with some very interesting panel members, and I'm not sure if I'm at liberty to mention, but critical stakeholders within the space, including the MasterCard Foundation, some of the Cosmos Innovation Center, Impact Investing Africa. All of these guys will be on the panel. So wonderful stuff. Thank you, Solomon. Always good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
So much to talk about. Lots of comments on the 3 proposed taxes. Lots of pressure on the MPs. New dynamic in Parliament. The numbers have changed. The NDC's minority leadership under the cosh. But as we all do all of that, the City Heritage Month is also on. Shout outs to all our patrons,
yes,
all our vendors.
Tipsy Alley, Echo.
Is that the only vendor you saw?
Yes. Because I want them to pour libation.
But you know what paid me? I beg. The people who were doing the grilled chicken,
the queue was too long.
Yeah, if they should show me where they are, I will find them. That chicken, Charlie, I had a dream about it.
It's true. I'm with Godfrey.
The lemongrass tea too from Beb.
Oh, that one this evening.
Oh my word! Charlie, we have to go there.
We should do a post-mortem roll call. A post-event roll call will help us. But Vodafone Business presents Vodafone Too Much Business, the number 1 mobile plan for businesses in Ghana. And with Vodafone Too Much Business, you have the best mobile plan on the market, gives your business the best value, means you have the flexibility to choose either voice, data, SMS that suits your business's size and ambitions. Now, get more minutes for Vodafone to Vodafone calls and calls to other networks, data and SMS in one complete package. Experience free calls among your employees and rollover and use data. You may call 0507 779 000 or sign up at Vodafone Business .gh@vodafone.com. If you're a student that needs assistance to study in Australia, Canada, US, UK, Ireland for your undergraduate or postgraduate program, then Growing Index Initiative has that covered for you. We assist you with services that include visa guidance and application, accommodation and flight bookings. Join us from Monday the 27th of March to Wednesday the 29th at our office number 4 Hila Liman Street, Kanda Highway for these sessions. So you may call 0243 414 661. That's 0243 414 661. Or you can join us at our office number 4 Hila Liman Street, Kanda Highway to take part in these sessions.
Bernard.
And Standard Water has over 25 years experience in providing quality and refreshing water to quench your thirst. This refreshing water brand is available in all 11 regions of Ghana, and we're still expanding to cover the rest of the country. We give you sachet, bottle, dispenser, mounted jar water, and we are available also for purchase from supermarkets, retail shops, and sales delivery trucks. For bulk purchase, call Standard Water 020-205-5703. That's 020-205-5703.
Now join our fun-packed adventure packages to Dubai this Easter from April 9 to 17. for $1,350, and our Europe tour package to Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, France, and Switzerland from August 7 to August 18 for €3,500. The package includes visa assistance, hotel accommodation, tours, tickets, airport transfers. In addition, get a free coupon travel card, which is the first travel loyalty card in Ghana. The card offers you discounts at partner hotels, restaurants, general merchandise, fashion and beauty outlets, as well as insurance partners. Payment plans are available. T's and C's apply. Call 0556 965 924 or 0262 349 886 for more details. Copan Hospitality Tourism at its best. Now, the season of Easter represents sacrifice, rebirth, and compassion. Easter presents the opportunity for us to exhibit genuine love and affection, a chance to extend a helping hand to the people around us and to make life a little more bearable for a fellow human being. Why don't we give meaning to the season this Easter and join us on this year's Easter Orphan Project? You can bring in your donations because on the 10th of April, we'll be visiting some orphanages. Send money to 050 673 7012. 050 673 7012. Checks may be written in the name of the Citi FM Foundation. You can also bring your cash donations to the front desk of Citi FM behind the Adabraka police station. Visit citinewsroom.com or call 050 673 7012 or 0302 226 013 or 0302 789 491 for more info.
All right, a couple of quick comments coming through on the show. We wanted to read some of them, but Sky, you wanted to? Yeah, I just thought you should read a few of them comments that have come in on the show. On the discussion around the Parliament and all of that.
Okay, I'll read that, and also let me just indicate that Sam George, the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram, has finally broken his silence over the issues that have been happening in Parliament over the last few days. And I'll be reading in full what seems to be a very heartbreaking statement he's put out. Grieving. But in fact, before I even read your statement, because he's even suspicious of his colleagues. He doesn't even want to even leave his food or drink. He doesn't leave his food there again.
Let's take a break.
Let's take before you read it.
Let's take a break.
Okay. Then let me read some.
Read a few texts and we'll take a break. Yes.
Okay. Now this one says that is it that the Ministry of Finance or government does not understand the imposition of these obnoxious taxes, or they hope the AGI, importers or exporters, CSOs, etc., will not see through their deeds? I just do not understand the government's approach. This one says the institutions are quiet because what the economy is going through is global. So I think they understand the measures that the government is adopting. It's coming in from Favor in Anya. And this one from Eugene in Ho says, thank you, Sky, for bringing TUC into this discussion. Please, Bernard, put the TUC on the operation table. We need to wake them up.
They say Suno Asogli to do something. they say if Suno Asogli doesn't do that thing, they say they will advise themselves. You know, that thing, when I hear, it's like, we'll advise ourselves. Like, are you waiting for me to advise you? What does it even mean? We'll advise. You know, yesterday they want point, what do you call it? Sienna.
Okay.
We are telling Asogli a last warning that if you don't reach stage 3, we'll advise ourselves. Then advise yourself.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Some children have two parents who do all that they can to make life comfortable. Some children have only one parent who toils to provide food, clothing, and shelter. And some children have no parents at all because mommy and daddy died in a car crash, or drowned in the floods, or cancer, a heart attack, or AIDS took them away, or mommy and daddy simply abandoned them. Some children are orphans. Your neighbor, schoolmate, work colleague, church member, brother in Islam, your doctor, your favorite wache seller may well be an orphan. Orphans are Ghanaians too, and we must do all that we can to ensure that they grow up to become responsible and prosperous citizens. This Easter, why don't we give meaning to the season? On Easter Monday, 10th April 2023, join 97.3 Citi FM and Citi TV on the Easter Orphan Project as we spend time with over 500 orphans in the Baptist School Complex and Orphanage at Choto near Suhum, the King Jesus Charity Home in Kumasi, and the Tamale Children's Home in Nyoni, Tamale. Your donations will help to make life a little better for some orphans across the length and breadth of Ghana. Please donate in cash and in kind. Items such as books, rice, gari, maize, sugar, milk, drinks, hand washing soap, washing powder, toiletries, disinfectant, etc. are welcome. Send your donations to the front desk of Citi FM behind the Arabaka police station, or send your cash donations via mobile money to 050-673-7012 or call 0302-226-013 for further information. This Easter, let's make some sacrifices. Let's be compassionate and let's make an orphan feel loved.
He won't let you down.
Enjoy the best of convenience and security on AT Money. Carry out all your mobile money related transactions on the go. Send or receive cash, pay bills, move cash in and out of your bank account from anywhere at any time. Airtel Tigo Money, your most secured and trusted mobile money service.
Bet365 is now officially available in Ghana. My G, if you love sports, there's no better way to get a piece of the action. Build your own personalized bet with Bet Builder and select from popular markets on the biggest sports. You fit make multiple selections within a single match. For example, in football, you can choose first goal scorer and both teams to score to create your bet. Charlie, visit the official site at bet365.com.gh. Over 18s only. Terms and conditions apply. Please gamble responsibly.
Hey, nowadays, germs are in the air, oh. Aren't you concerned?
Concerned about what?
About the children, of course. In times like this, they sneeze, cough, and fall ill just like that.
This is why we need to give our children and ourselves a fighting chance with the maximum protection of Dettol soap. Dettol soap not only refreshes you, but it can be used for bathing and washing hands. So keep calm, get Dettol soap.
Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Dettol is endorsed by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association.
This advert is FDA approved.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
Welcome back. This is still the Citi Breakfast Show, live on your dial 97.3 FM. The guys are still here. Godfred Akotoba is here. Richard Alaska is here. My name is Nathan Kwao, taking over the big seat. Sky, before we went on a break, you wanted to share a few thoughts from Honorable Samuel George.
Charlie, the thing is, with reading it, like it's really heart-wrenching. Like it's he's been quiet unusually.
Yes.
And people have been asking questions as to why he's been quiet, whether he's one of the the rogues or whether he's one of the folks who follow the party line and didn't get the right outcome, at least in their views. And today, this morning, a short while ago, he released a statement on his Facebook page, basically lamenting the outcome of the vote on Friday. And with your permission, let me just read that in full. It says that I have been silent. It is a difficult place to be. I'm not one to be silent. It is not in my nature. My silence has been born out of pain, a type that cuts so deep it leaves you speechless. My pain is twofold, a sense of being let down and a sense of letting down. I feel let down by the fact that in those hallowed chambers of Parliament, I hold the unfortunate singular record of being the only victim of Brian Achampon's brutality and machinations at the National Security Ministry. The scars of Ayawaso Westward gone by election are still very fresh on my mind, and even though as a Christian I have told myself to forgive, it is hard to forget. How could my colleagues, some of whom marched with me to the police headquarters to demand justice, vote for the man who caused me such pain? Where is the sense of camaraderie? Are we not comrades in the struggle again? Would I feel safe to leave my drink or food with any of them again? These thoughts have haunted me since Friday. Is this the caucus I have rushed to defend always in the past? Is it really worth the hassle? See why I have kept quiet? On the other hand, I am part of the caucus that has let down and stabbed right in the heart our base and supporters. How do I explain to my constituents? How do I respond to the several calls from the constituency asking me why? What explanation can I give? What excuse could ever be fitting? A majority of the caucus may have voted against the nominees, but the dent of the few who, for whatever considerations, voted otherwise is collective. We are all an endangered species now. It is not a thing of pride nor prestige at this time to be called or to call yourself an NDC MP. How did we sink so low from the heroes and heroines of January 6, 2021? How do we fix this conundrum we find ourselves in? How do we rise together again as one unit, as we did the night we elected the speaker? I'm struggling to find answers. So you see why I have been quiet? We need to regroup as quickly as possible and have a proper introspection as individuals. And as a collective, we owe it to the base and leadership of our party. We owe it to our presumptive flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama. We owe it to our own legacies. It would demand us being less emotional and more logical and strategic in our thinking and approach going forward. It would be an arduous task to win back the love of our base and trust of leadership, but it is a task we must undertake. We have no options but to dig deep and make the next 18 months count for our party. Rough the tides may be, but ashore we must guide our vessel. God be our guide. Signed, the Honorable Samuel Nachi George, MP, Ningo Pram constituency.
Very interesting words. Very, very, very interesting words. We'll get into the heritage. Sky, you want to just a quick comment?
Let me just also say quickly that yesterday the Honorable Suhini Al-Hassan also issued a similar statement. I'm sure maybe it's tomorrow when the time permitting would bring that to the attention of our listeners.
Okay. We'll get into today's serving of the Heritage Series conversation. But before that, premium quality Namibian meat You can only taste its juiciness at Hype Flicks Drive-In Park and Watch on Friday, March 31. Now at Park and Watch, you can create your own private cinema experience in your car and enjoy all the comforts of home while still being out and about. Whether you're in the mood for some juicy pork or chicken wings with crispy yam chips, hot night watches, spicy kelewele, stuffed spring rolls, fresh popcorn or delicious cocktails, there's something for everyone. Just turn on your hazard light to order and get served right in your car. When you Park and Watch on a giant screen, you get crystal clear sound blasting through your car speakers to give you surround sound. And it's amazing. Now, what is on is Operation Fortune, starring Jason Statham and Babylon, a thrilling movie starring Brad Pitt and Robbie Margot. This Friday, March 31 at the Ghana Club. Call 0557-587-624 now to purchase tickets or visit hypeflixdrivein.com to grab tickets online. This event is powered by Hype Up Limited with support from the Ghana Club, Abanga Foods and Farm Systems, Wachiyere, Caution Cocktail Bar and Virtual Solutions. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority is reminding all VAT, NHI, Get Fund Levy registered businesses that VAT, NHI, Get Fund Levy and Communication Service tax returns for February this year should be submitted on the VAT, NHI, Get Fund Levy and CST return forms not later than Friday, March 31, which is the last working day of the month. File your VAT, NHI, Get Fund Levy and CST returns early and avoid paying penalties. For VAT, NHI, Get Fund Levy, the penalty is 500 cedis and a further penalty of 10 cedis for each day the return is not submitted. Now, if you want to get in touch with the GRA, send them an email info@gra.gov.gh or send a WhatsApp message to 0552 990 000 or 0200 631 664 or visit gra.gov.gh for more info. Imagine you had the power to impact the world around you. At the British Council, they see students from all over the world with dreams of a bright future coming together for a quality education that achieves goals. Those who study abroad in countries like the UK are getting much more than just a degree. They are getting a world of valuable experiences. Visit the British Council website to find out how you can own your future. Now, stay for 2 nights and get a third for free in a standard room for $454 or $4,995 for 2 persons at Maha Beach Resort. Package includes dinner on arrival, breakfast, lunch, and dinner on second day, and breakfast on last day before departure. Get free airport pickup service Friday to Sunday. Of course, T's and C's apply. Complimentary early check-in and late check-out till about 1 p.m. subject to availability and other amazing offers. Upgrade of rooms and other services are also available on request. Now, the offer is available only when you book directly with the hotel. Rate is payable in the Ghana cedi equivalent at the prevailing exchange rates of the hotel. 70% non-refundable deposit is required to confirm the reservation. Our offer is bookable from now till the 10th day of April 2023 and is subject to availability. Call 0303 977 773 or 0501 570 684 or 0540 124 114 for more details and reservation. Email sm@maharesort.com or reservations@maharesort.com. T's and C's apply. $9:30. Let's get into today's edition of the Heritage Series conversation, and we are continuing our conversation on the Ghana Armed Forces, the history, formation, and the journey of the Ghana Armed Forces. And of course, it's taken from Footprints. Samuel Atamensa hosts that show, and he has been speaking with our resource person on the history of the Ghana Armed Forces.
We started our story of the Ghana Armed Forces with Brigadier General James Hagan. We have been on a journey talking about the history of the Ghana Armed Forces for the past weeks, if you've been watching. This episode will bring a finality to the conversation about the Ghana Armed Forces. And we're fortunate to have somebody who's well versed in the history of the Ghana Armed Forces and all the activities leading up to the formation of the Ghana Armed Forces, in the person of Brigadier General James Hagan. On this episode, we still will have him here to take us to the next steps of the formation and the progress made by the Ghana Armed Forces. So this is what we are here to do. My name is Samuel Atamensa. We'll take a short break. When we come back, he will take it over from the Transvolta Togoland split from mainland Togo and how the military made progress. Good to have you again, Brigadier General. It's been a long one, but I know that you can deliver. It's good to have you. So again, in the last episode, you took us through the ranks and the sequence of the ranks in the military, which was very educative. But in telling the story of the military, we had gotten to the point of all the things that happened with the Germans' involvement and the French involvement and all that. So this will take us to, say, 1916 thereafter. So how, again, did the military make progress?
Okay. I've already told you about the Cameroon campaigns in 1916.
Yeah.
Where we had battle runners Douala. And currently, if you go to Burma camp, there's a portion of it called Douala Lines, named after those who perished in that campaign.
Oh, okay.
The British to come down and finish him. So Gold Coast Regiment was transported through Cape of Good Hope to the eastern coast of Tanzania. They had a lot of engagements. One at a place called Kikarungu Hill.
Kikarungu Hill.
Kikarungu Hill. Then another one at Gold Coast Hill. But their most famous battle was the Battle of Narungombe, 17 July 1917. And here, General Paul Voleton Vorbeck surveyed the whole countryside, and he saw that there were two rivers, Matandu and Mbemkuru rivers. Between these two rivers, a distance of 100 miles or 160 kilometers, no water anywhere except the water holes at Narungombe. So if you are moving troops, you will need water to preferably your troops. So it was here, Narungombe, that Paul Voleton took up positions. Gold Coast Regiment forced with Kane's African Rifles from Kenya to their right, and then South African Battalion to their left. Gold Coast Regiment in the center, and the German positions on top of a hill, plentifully supplied with mortars, artillery, and then machine guns. The machine guns have been placed in such a way that, because they are on a hill, one machine gun here, another machine gun here, they overlap. Whilst the rifles were interlocking, the machine guns were overlapping. And at the same time, the mortars and artillery, who will be seeing you far away, the indirect fire will be landing on you. And in this campaign on 17 July 1917, 2 platoons of Gold Coast personnel, more than over 60 personnel, lost their lives, including the CSM Bravo Company, CSM Audu Bakano. They said his body was dissected into pieces by machine guns in such a way that they couldn't recognize him.
What's his name again?
Audu Bakano.
From Ghana?
From Ghana. They fought very well. By the following morning, General Paul von Leto has withdrew from Narungombe.
Why? Why?
Because I've told you that initially he went around dumping ammunition, water, food at some places. So when the ammunition and food here is getting finished, he will have to carry the rest, protect himself to his next defensive position. That was what he was doing. And the Nigerians engaged him also. So the fighting went on until he left German East Africa and entered Portuguese East Africa. When I say Portuguese East Africa, I'm referring to Mozambique. And Gold Coast Regiment was made to pursue him in Mozambique. And he crossed to Nyasaland. That is present-day Malawi. From there to present-day Zambia to southern DR Congo. When he heard that Germany had been defeated
in the World War
World War I. So this came to an end. And Gold Coast Regiment and Battle Honours, East Africa, 1917, which is on our colours. That is why when there's any important national parade, we come out with the colours to remember those who served honorably and diligently in the regiment. So after World War I in 1918, Gold Coast Regiment went through transformation again. And the strength was increased from regiment to that of a brigade. So when the Second World War broke out, those in the colonies will have to support Great Britain. At that time, the Italians were in Ethiopia and Somalia. And they also attacked northern part of Kenya. So Gold Coast Regiment was sent there. Their first engagement was at Wajir in northern Kenya. They pushed the Ethiopians out and they gave us battle honours Wajir. That's why Engineer Regiment, Wajir Barracks.
Wow. Wow. Tell me, at this point, the geography of the Gold Coast would now include the Asante and the northern part. Is that correct?
Now, the Gold Coast, we have Gold Coast Colony, Asante Confederacy, and Northern Territories. Three.
Okay. So you are drawing your military personnel from all three places at this point?
Yes.
Good.
Because after the Togoland campaigns, they composed a poem. It goes like this. Most of us are from the far north, and some of us from Asante are, and some of us from the Gold Coast B. But we are now in the Gold Coast Regiment. We march so fast, we march so far, that the very first victory of the First World War was won by the Gold Coast Regiment, unquote. So it tells you that I said most of us are from the far north. Some of us from Asante are, and some of us from the Gold Coast B.
What's Asante are?
So some of them are from Asante.
Oh, okay.
This is an old English
poetry. Yeah.
Some of us from Asante are, and some of us from the Gold Coast B.
Wow. So that supposes that they were all together at this point.
They were all together as one. Administered by the Governor General in Accra, with sub-governors in Asante and then the Northern Territories.
Wow.
And most of the sub-governors in Northern Territory were military officers.
Oh, okay. As in British military officers?
British military officers, white men.
Okay.
So, as I said, outbreak of Second World War, a brigade was sent into northern Kenya. Then after the defeat of the Italians at Wajir, the Nigerians took over the campaign and chased the Ethiopians into Mogadishu. Then whilst getting to Mogadishu, Gold Coast Regiment was called in on the Juba River. There's a river in Somalia and Ethiopia called River Juba. They were to secure and fight the Italians for the Nigerians to pass through to Mogadishu. For this Gold Coast Regiment, Gold Coast Brigade did it with distinction. And we were given battle honors Juba. That is why if you go to Burma camp now,
Juba Villas.
we have Juba Villas.
Wow.
From there, we were brought to southwestern part of Ethiopia. The Nigerians chased the Italians from Somalia to Addis Ababa. And when the fighting was intense, especially the Nigerians did very well at the Battle of Malda Pass.
The Battle of what?
Battle of Malda Pass. It was a pass between the mountains, which Nigerians dealt with the Italians. Then the Italians withdrew from Addis Ababa to southwestern part of Ethiopia, a place called Galasidamo. And that was the task given to the Gold Coast Brigade to fight them. And we fought them at a place called Negeli. And we were given battle honors Negeli. That is why 37 Military Hospital is called Negeli Barracks.
Negeli Barracks.
Negeli Barracks.
Negeli Barracks.
That's 37 Military Hospital.
Wow, never heard that before.
After this campaign, the British were losing in Burma. Life forces were losing in Burma. So the former commandant, West Africa Frontier Force, recommended that the men from Nigeria, the Gold Coast, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia, the vegetation and the weather will suit them very well. And because of that, we were sent in there.
Into Burma.
Into Burma. That's how come we got into Burma.
And how did you go there in Burma?
In Burma, we were placed under. We formed 81 West Africa Division. Because Nigeria alone provided 3 brigades. Ghana, 1 brigade. Sierra Leone, 1 battalion. The Gambia, 1 company. So they grouped us into 81 West African Division to operate in the valley of River Caladan. We have 5 divisions operating to the right. If you look at the map of Burma, we have Bay of Bengal between Burma and India. That is the sea. 5 division, Indian Army was operating to the right. And then we have 7 division, Indian Army in the center. Then 81 West Africa Division to the east in the Caladan Valley. And the Japanese were to the south of them. We have the Japanese part of Japanese 15th Army operating in that area. And the main job of the West African Frontier Force was to prevent Japanese reinforcement for their personnel in southern Burma. There's a route, Kanzok, Hitiswe Road. That is the main supply line. And that was the task given to 81 West African Regiment. Block it so that no reinforcement will flow from there. But let all our troops be at the same place. They took 1 brigade and gave them to Special Forces Division. So the 81 West Africa Division operated less a brigade. But where we show great an honor was at Mayong, a Japanese communication center. You remember Otodio Communication Center at Kamina? They were having the same thing at Mayong. So if you want to defeat them, then they capture that communication center.
Which is also in Burma, right?
In Burma. The 81 West Africa Division, some of them from the right, and then 82 West Africa Division from the north. Later they brought in 82 too. And then the 2 of them combined and took the wireless station at Mayong.
Yeah.
And were given battle honors, Mayong 1945. You remember this 25th January? They say every 25th January it is celebrated at Takoradi.
Wow.
That's why we have Mayong Barracks.
And that's in Second D, right?
That's Takoradi.
Apremdo, okay. Good.
So at the end of the Second World War, our men fought alongside the British, the Indians, and they came back. And they said they saw that some of them were not apt as far as facing the Japanese were concerned. Some of them were too much afraid of them, but our men did very well. I don't want to go into details here because of time. So when they came home, they started calling for our independence. Now it has brought us to the 1948 riots in the Gold Coast. Here was the Gold Coast Legion, which some of them refused to join and decided to go and present a petition to the governor at Osukasa. This thing that we are talking about, politicians were under it, including some of the so-called Big Six. But when it was becoming difficult, they withdrew.
Of course. That makes them politicians.
And the soldiers face it. Odate Lamte, Atipo, and the other one, what's his name? If you go to Labadi, you will see his bust standing there. Those three soldiers lost their life.
Who were they? They were part of
the 81 West African Division, which fought in Burma.
Who had returned.
All had returned.
And then they led the uprising.
One of the main reasons was for the independence of the Gold Coast. And currently, people didn't know that some military personnel took part in that expedition, in that, what do I call it, presentation of, and then lost their lives. That today, when we are singing the independence story, those people are not mentioned.
This is Odate Lamte, Atipo,
and their leader,
Ajete, yes. Sergeant Ajete, Atipo, and Odate Lamte.
Lost their lives.
Wow. So they led that whole uprising. Is it the 28th
February crossroad
shooting?
They lost their lives.
Wow.
So you've seen how the armed forces contributed towards the independence.
Kind of give motivation to trigger the whole thing.
So if we see the red color in our flag, it is them. No politician lost his life. So when they say the blood shed by our fathers, which our fathers shed blood?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
It is the soldiers. The gold is the gold color was because of our plenty gold mine, isn't it? Then the green color was for our vegetation. But let me ask you, which politician lost his life
in the process
of our independence?
Well, some may have, but not as politicians necessarily. Politicians, they don't die by heart. Brigadier General, we are back from the Second World War, and then the crossroads shooting happened, and the whole agitations, triggering the whole independence push. At this point, what did the military look like, the Ghana Armed Forces look like?
Yes. When they came from Burma, they were promised some money.
By the British
colonial administration.
Okay.
Those in Britain and in Europe, including India, were paid. But our people did not receive anything. That partly led to 1948.
Oh, I see.
Including increment in the prices of goods and services provided by the Europeans.
And what reason were they given for not paying them? They were not paid at all?
They were not paid. They said funds had not come from London.
Wow.
How can you pay some and then refuse to pay others? Because of that, some units were disbanded. So a brigade is made up of 3 battalions. Probably can be 4 battalions plus brigade headquarters and other ancillary staff. Because when they went to Burma, there were people who were not soldiers, but they were carrying the guns, following the soldiers. If you look at HQ Central Command, Kumasi, their emblem.
The emblem, yeah.
It's a head part, kashiri, with a sword and this cross.
Yeah.
And underneath has been written, through our careers we fight.
So this is a recognition of the
careers who were with 81 and 82 West African divisions.
Okay.
So when they came home, most of the units were disbanded. And around 1950 onwards, they established Royal Officers Training School at Teshi, known as ROST, at Teshi, to train officers. That is where General Kotoko, General Ankara, later Afrifa and the rest, all of them got trained. And they brought some from Sierra Leone and Gambia, and then Nigeria also.
To be trained
They trained them, Murtala Mohammed, General Obasanjo and Co, all of them. They had their initial military training at Teshi. That is where we call present-day Ghana Military Academy. They were trained there before being sent to UK for further training.
Was it Sandhurst? Most of them went to Sandhurst.
Some went to Sandhurst, and most of them Sandhurst, and then there's another school at Mons.
Where?
Mons in UK.
Okay.
That's where some of them too were also trained. Achampo and Co went there.
Oh, I see. Well, the Sandhurst had become very popular. Yeah.
Yes. And then when we had our independence in 1957, in 1959, Kwame Nkrumah decided that they should reorganize the army because our name was not the Gold Coast. We were then known as Ghana. So Ghana Army, officially as we see it now, 1959. But as I've told you, it can trace its history to Royal African Colonial Corps of Light Infantry in 1822. So 1959, the Navy and the Air Force were also formed alongside the Army. Although the armed forces is there, but the Army alone has about 2/3 the strength of the entire armed forces. For Navy, I would say we can trace their roots to the Second World War, where we fought in Burma at a place called Arakan. And then in Burma proper, there were a lot of rivers, like River Chindwin, River Kaladan, River Mayu, and others. Then at the coast, there were something like lagoons, which penetrate inwards with a lot of mud. And at a point in time, plans were made to attack the Japanese positions in some islands. So some of the 82nd West African Regiment troops were made to join the Indian Army. So when those people came, that was the beginning of the Navy. Then in 1959, when the Air Force came into being, the Canadians and the Indians were called in by Kwame Nkrumah. So Army personnel were seconded into the Air Force. Then they started their training. And in 1960, more Air Force personnel were recruited into the Air Force, including our former CDS, Air Marshal Dumashi.
Air Marshal Dumashi.
Dumashi.
Wow.
They were trained in 1960.
Okay.
And they used to form the nucleus.
So Air Vice Marshal Boachi and those people were there?
Some of them were Army personnel who were seconded to the Air Force.
So this Air Vice Marshal Boachi would be the head of the Air Force during the Kuta
He became head of the Air Force during Achampon regime. And he was killed.
Yes.
The
military officers who were killed.
Military officers who were shot at.
And then later on, there was another one, O2.
O2 became CDS.
Okay.
O2, we're having two of them.
Yeah, the Air Force O2.
Air Force O2. We have SJA O2. And then they are two. I don't know whether they are brothers. But one became chief of army staff, one became CDS.
Okay, there's one that was from the
one was MAO2. I think they are all from the mountains.
Mountains, okay. That's all right. General James Hagan, the fancy man from Anumabo. We will end this episode again, and then we'll have another episode because there's so much to be told about this history of Ghana Armed Forces. My name is Samuel Atamens, and this is where we bring the curtains down on today's episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next.
City 97.3 Accra.
Fly Emirates first and business class and look forward to a journey that's as incredible as your destination. Start your holiday with delicious fine dining, impeccable service, and comfort that's out of this world. Sip drinks in our A380 onboard lounge on flights from Dubai and beyond. Watch a movie and drift into a restful sleep in flatbed seats. Treat yourself to Emirates first and business class. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
1xBet. Easy betting, easy winnings. 1xBet, the most reliable service to make deposits easily with high odds and numerous bonuses on the spot. Register now at 1xBet.com.gh. Use promo code BESTODDSGH to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. Easy to use, easy to have a chance to win. 1xBet, reliable bookmaker. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Imagine you have the power to impact the world around you. At the British Council, we see students from all over the globe coming together for equality of education that achieves goals. An IELTS test from the British Council can help you own your future. For a limited time only, when you book IELTS with British Council, you will get our most popular preparation course, Road to IELTS Premium, for free. Valued at $80. Road to IELTS Premium gives you all the material you need to get a great IELTS score. Visit the British Council website today.
City 97.3 More variety.
And that's how we end today's edition of the Citi Breakfast Show. It was live on 97.3 FM. Earlier you heard Bernard Avle, and you also heard Richard Delasky and Godfred Akotoba. For many, many thanks for your messages that came in. We'll do it again tomorrow morning. Show was produced by Caleb Kuda, Fred Jabano. Godfred Odum supported us on technical. Coming up next is the news at 10 with Caleb Kuda.
Coming up, the Ghana Union of Traders Association